Baseball.
The crowd salutes the Sarge, and the Sarge salutes the crowd. The Phillies playoff preview is brought to you by the Subaru dealers of the Delaware Valley. Getty Unleaded Plus. At Getty, the proof is at the pump. And Blue Cross of Greater Philadelphia and Pennsylvania Blue Shield.
Don Henderson with you, and happy to welcome you to the Phillies preview, because this could be the night that the Phillies clinch the National League title. Of course, the Phils go against the Los Angeles Dodgers, leading the best-of-5 series 2-1 following yesterday's big action. But let's look back, because the American League race is already history. At Comiskey Park in Chicago in less than 24 hours, the Baltimore Orioles put away the Chicago White Sox in back-to-back games. There you see Eddie Murray as he hits a home run last night in the top of the first inning with Dwyer and Cal Ripken Jr. on base, and that quickly it's 3-0 the O's. And then Bunbury will hit a line drive. Ron Kittle will come over to field it. However, run number 4 will score here as Dembski comes around, stumbles a little bit at third base, but makes it 4-0 in favor of the Orioles as he slides in safely. In the bottom of the fourth, Ron Kittle will be hurt right here, and no one knows at this time he'll have to leave this ball game and will not be able to play in today's game. And of course, the benches begin to clear as there's a little bit of yelling back and forth on both clubs, as Kittle did not like the fact that he was hit. Coming right back in the top of the 5th inning, Cal Ripken Jr. takes one in the ribs, and that's going to set the stage for a big inning in the ball game. As Eddie Murray looks in, he takes one just about belt high, and he starts to yell back and forth. La Russa, the manager of the Chicago White Sox, is unhappy. Here comes the White Sox bullpen. Everybody's going to ramble around a little bit, make a lot of noise, but nothing happens. John Lowenstein will then hit a double with both men on base, and this is going to make it 6 runs on the board for the Baltimore Orioles, and you can close out game number 3 of the American League Championship Series as the Orioles win it. Lowenstein closed out there at third base. For the Orioles, they win it going away 11-1, 11-8-1 for the Orioles, 1-6-1 for the losing Chicago White Sox. Flanagan gets the win, Dotson takes the loss, Stewart gets the save, and Murray had the only home run of the game. Now let's take a look at today's action as the White Sox close it out. A ground ball, and what an inning this was. The White Sox had a chance to put this game away in the 7th inning. They had 3 base hits, a walk, a balk committed by the Baltimore Orioles, and would you believe the White Sox did not score a run? Great play there by the third baseman as he ran over and ran the player back to second base rather than throwing the ball. And watch it right here. The relay comes in, the cutoff man in perfect position. Now he does not throw the ball. Runs at the man hung up between second and third. Absolutely perfectly executed. Then the throw back to second base, Dower to the plate, and Vance Law is out. Excellently played by the Orioles in that situation, and the White Sox go home empty after 3 base hits. The Orioles load the bases, but they can't do any damage as that pop out with 2 outs ends the top of the 8th inning. Now you're going to see a great catch in center field as Pudgy, Carlton Fisk hit one to the warning track, but not good enough in the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 10th, all tied up at 0-0. And this is the blow that changes the complexion of the game. Dan Ford hits it off the upper deck. Following 2 base hits, you're going to see Ripken and Murray now circle the bases as the Orioles will take a 3-0 lead on this sacrifice fly, and that will be the final score. The White Sox falling at home in 2 consecutive ball games. The last out, not a pretty one at Comiskey Park, but all in all, a big day for the Baltimore Orioles. They sweep 2 at Comiskey, win the American League Championship, 3-9-0 for the Orioles, 0-10-0 for the losing White Sox. And of course, the big inning, you go back to that 7th inning, 3 base hits, a walk and a balk, and the Chicago White Sox came up dry. We'll continue with the Phillies preview in just a second.
With red tag sales, many dealers offer great savings without great selections. But Subaru offers both in our very first no tag sale. Choose any 83 Subaru model in stock, and it's yours at a bargain price. With a red tag sale, you might get lucky. With a no tag sale, you get what you want.
Test drive the exciting Subaru at the Delaware Valley dealer nearest you.
Most businesses start small. What makes them grow? Dreams, hard work, and a bank that works with you. A bank like First Pennsylvania. First Pensies help thousands of small businesses get bigger and bigger with loans and other answers to their financial needs. Call First Pennsylvania. We'll help your business grow too, whether you need a planned expansion or just some seed money.
First Pennsylvania, we're motivated.
Gas prices can drive you crazy. Not only do they change from week to week, they change from corner to corner, block to block. You've really got to keep your eyes open to get your money's worth. Getty wants to give you the high-quality gasoline most cars need at the lowest possible price. That's why Getty is constantly watching the competition. We're doing everything we can to see that when things change here, it's for the better. At Getty, the proof is at the pump.
Better than 52,000 turned out at Veteran Stadium yesterday, and they see the Phils take a commanding 2-1 lead in their best-of-5 series for the National League Championship against the Los Angeles Dodgers. A sunny day at Veteran Stadium yesterday, and that really played a big effect on the ball game. Let's start out by taking a look at the Phils, who win it by the score of 7-2. And you're going to see right here as Charles Hudson gets off to just a sensational start for the Phillies.
Well, and he just grew up. He's not your average rookie by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think. Although his hitting wasn't real good today. I told him I hope he struck out 4 times for the game, but he only got 3, because that means he's going to be around.
I spoke with Mike Schmidt about the difficulty of hitting at Veterans Stadium on a 3:30 start.
As soon as that background in center field gets covered with a shadow, the same as home plate, then you can see. But you can't see much at all up to that point. It's not an excuse. I've gotten some hits when I can't pick the ball up very well, but you know, it's not comfortable up there. You know, you like to be able to see the ball and try to react to it all the way in, but it's tough hit.
At the top, Pete Rose kidding a little bit with Charles Hudson. He did strike out 3 times, but pitched great. Here's the play of the game, I think. 1 run in. The Phils right now have a chance to make it 2-0. You see Greg Gross coming toward the plate. Pedro Guerrero makes the decision to go to first base rather than the force at second, or, in fact, going to the plate and getting Greg Gross with a pitcher coming up next. That's a mistake. Here, Mike Schmidt on the other side, the third base bag. He goes to the stands to pull one down. Now watch Mike as he comes over and has a little jousting match with one of the fans in the lower boxes right there. But Michael Jack will come up with the ball. So good defense by the Phils, some appropriate hitting by Gary Maddox, and the Phillies win it, make that Gary Matthews the Sarge, and the Phils win it by a score of 7-2. 7-9-1 for the Phils, 2-4-0 for the Dodgers. Hudson the winner, and Bobby Welsh, although he had to leave the game in the second inning because of injury, was the losing pitcher in the ball game. Phils lead this best-of-5 series 2-1, and the Phillies preview continues right after this.
What's on the horizon for TV? More than 100 broadcast and cable channels. That's why Zenith invented the Smart Set. The only set smart enough to give you 178 channel capability now. Smart enough to let you access more channels through Zenith's most advanced Space Command remote control. The Smart Set lets you tune in the future without leaving your chair. Advanced System 3. The Smart Set. Exclusively Zenith.
With red tag sales, many dealers offer great savings without great selections. But Subaru offers both in our very first no-tag sale. Choose any 83 Subaru model in stock, and it's yours at a bargain price. With a red tag sale, you might get lucky. With a no-tag sale, you get what you want.
Test drive the exciting Subaru at the Delaware Valley dealer nearest you.
Continental Bank is the financial force for our city, its suburbs and neighborhoods, and the entire Delaware Valley area. A force that generates growth and achievement. A force that can touch your life with a special momentum and meaning. Continental Bank offers a depth of financial service that can help you reach your personal or business goals.
Continental Bank, the financial force.
Why settle for a diamond this size when you can have one this size and at 25 to 40% off during Pearlstein's special diamond sale? Get brilliance, quality, and size, plus our written guarantee and a free gem print for positive identification. You deserve the best, so get a diamond today at 25 to 40% off during Pearlstein's special diamond sale. We put it all together for you at Pearlstein, 713 Sansom Street, the heart of Jewelers Row.
There's not a better guy on the Philadelphia Phillies than the Sarge, Gary Matthews. You saw him at the top of the show. Right now, let's go to the field. Andy Musser and the Sarge, Gary Matthews.
Gary Matthews, who hit a home run and knocked in 4 runs in yesterday's ball game, is with us here tonight. Sarge, what do you have planned for an encore?
I just want to win this ball game tonight, Andy. I want to do anything that I can to try and contribute, but I know that they'll be concentrating on me tonight that much harder, and I think that they probably won't let me beat them in any situation. As far as even in might, they'll probably maybe elect to go to the other guy and let him beat me. But if there's men on base, it's pretty hard to pitch around guys. I know Royce handled us really pretty good in L.A., and the one home run that Mike hit ended up being a game-winning hit. But I think overall we probably should have more hits in the game. Their backs are up against the wall because they're down by 1 game now, so we can't really play relaxed. We got to go out there and jump on them like we did yesterday and hope we can get the lead and keep them down. And if we can do that and get a lead and going toward the 8th or the 9th, we got Mr. T there in the bullpen, who is more than anxious right now to be able to get in there and show what kind of stuff he has. So what we're trying to do is just get us a lead, no matter if it's 1 or 2 runs going into late innings, and hope that we can bring him in and hope that he can just carry us on in there. Not saying that Leppy's not going to go all the way, and if he has his good stuff like he did in L.A., it should be one heck of a ball game.
You know, the making of the lineup really has a great importance on the ball game, and of course the other night when Carlton pitched against the Dodgers, he was able to work around Guerrero because they had Marshall batting behind him. Now tonight, the Dodgers are doing it differently. They're batting Guerrero ahead of your pal Dusty Baker. That puts some pressure on Dusty too, doesn't it?
Well, you know, Dusty's one of those kind of clutch players where he doesn't always have to hit that ball hard in order to get a base hit. He's a smart hitter. He gets 2 strikes on him, and he can go the other way. Guerrero is more of the power hitter who can do the same thing, but he's more or less looking for the ball to hit it out of the plate. I think they changed it in order to probably get Guerrero a lot better pitches, but it can be the same thing if we can keep those guys in front of him off the plate. He can pitch around him again. I think we'd rather give up a double than a home run, and not saying that Dusty can't hit the home run, but he won't be more or less swinging for him the way that Guerrero will be swinging for him.
Best of luck to you again tonight, Gary Matthews, and now let's get back to Don Henderson.
All right, Andy, thank you very much, and certainly our thanks to Gary Matthews. And we'll be taking a look at those 2 starting pitchers, lefty for the Phils, Steve Crofton, Jerry Royce for the Dodgers, in just a second.
What you have to do. Take good care of yourself. You belong to you.
When we talk about taking good care of yourself, the first thing a lot of people think of is exercise. But there's a good reason for it. Good nutrition and exercise are the key ways to keep your body in shape. One man who knows the value of exercise is Brad Zerg.
Dick, exercise has to be enjoyable. If it's not, then you're not going to continue it. So the secret is to find something you like to do and that your doctor says is okay, and do it. I mean, if you really hate running, don't run for exercise. Try swimming or walking, as long as you do it at least 3 times a week.
What are some of the misconceptions people have about exercise?
People who haven't worked out in 10 years come in and want to look skinny within a month. Things don't happen overnight. They have to be taught to start out easy, make sure it's fun, and set realistic goals. And maybe find a fitness center to work with them and set up a program.
Some forward-thinking companies have set up fitness centers for their employees. One such center is here at McNeil Consumer Products Company in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania. Its director is Barbara Churchill.
Dick, our program is called Live for Life, and it really covers more than exercise. It includes nutrition, weight control, stress management, even substance abuse programs. Our studies show that corporate fitness programs really do work, and we found that people here not only feel healthier, but they feel more productive and energetic during the day. Our goal is to make our program fun and a very enjoyable experience that people stay with it. And perhaps this is why over 80% of our employees participate.
Blue Cross of Greater Philadelphia and Pennsylvania Blue Shield think that you should know what exercise can do for you. For a free pamphlet, write exercise, Box 8219, Philadelphia 19101.
Take good care of yourself. You belong to you.
The Phils couldn't ask for a better situation. Sellout crowd at home at Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia, and their closer, the number 16 man to pitch 300 wins in Major League Baseball, lefty Steve Carlton gets the call, and there you see it. He's 1-0 for the playoff series. Of course, it was Steve Carlton, Al Holland, and Mike Schmidt that combined in Game 1. Al Holland and Steve Carlton doing the pitching, Mike Schmidt hitting the home run to get the win. On the other side of the ledger, let's go to Jerry Royce. He is 0-1. He was the hard luck loser in game number 1. 1.13 ERA, 8 innings pitched, 3 bases on balls, and 3 strikeouts. Well, hopefully we won't have a pregame show tomorrow. There won't be a game number 5. But if there is, we'll be right here before it begins. And, of course, you'll see all the action right here on TV 29. If there's a World Series, you'll see that here as well. Let's go to the field, Veterans Stadium, right now.
The Phillies playoff preview has been brought to you by Getty Unleaded Plus. At Getty, the proof is at the pump. The Subaru dealers of the Delaware Valley. Blue Cross of Greater Philadelphia and Pennsylvania Blue Shield.
You're going to ask your next television to do more, to play harder, and be more intelligent than ever before. More than ever, you'll need the Smart Set by Zenith. Only the Smart Set has Zenith's exclusive computer brain that senses uneven color wear in the picture tube and automatically compensates. For rich, true color, no matter what you ask of it, get Advanced System 3, the Smart Set. Exclusively Zenith.
Here at 707 Chestnut Street is the new Rose-Offs. New paint, new carpeting, and a much bigger sales floor to make room for all those famous new brands. Fine suits, sport coats, and slacks. Rainwear, outerwear, and designer coats. Even a brand new men's furnishings department. The new wonderful Rose-Offs. Everything in famous brand menswear at incredible discount prices. Rose-Offs at 707 Chestnut Street.
I remember the crash and using our business-to-business directory to find a glazer who would come out right away. We used our business book when we needed a caterer for our first company picnic. When our old copier went on the fritz, our business-to-business directory saved the day. We even found a big selling idea. Whatever you need, whenever you need it, it's in the business-to-business directory. Use it.
Good evening, everyone, from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Welcome to the 1983 National League Championship Series. It's the Eastern Division champion Philadelphia Phillies versus the Western Division champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Game 4 of the National League Championship Series brought to you by Bud Light. The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. By Roy Rogers Restaurants, the place to go for great fast foods. By Toyota, who invites you to visit your local Toyota dealer and see the SR5 4x4 sports truck. Good evening, everyone, from Veterans Stadium League Championship Series Game 4. Harry Callis and Rich Ashburn, and behind us, Whitey, there is an air of anticipation.
Well, this crowd has been yelling and screaming for about the last half hour, and they're out here, of course, hoping the Phillies will win tonight. The Phillies are in a position to win it, and the Dodgers, of course, have their backs against the wall in this particular ball game. Carlton beat Jerry Royce 1-0 in the first game. The Dodgers, of course, won the second. Gary Matthews and Charles Hudson yesterday combining to make it a best 2 out of 3, and now tonight they're hoping for a best 3 out of 4.
So it's Steve Carlton, Jerry Royce. Our national anthem tonight will be sung by the daughter of columnist Jack McKinney, Maureen McKinney. Maura McKinney, daughter of Jack McKinney, local columnists with a fine rendition of our national anthem. Back with the starting lineups after these messages.
You can't build a bike for the Olympics by machine. Each tube's got to be custom fit to transfer weight into forward momentum. After all, a champion should ride a champion.
The Olympics take teamwork, and Budweiser is proud to be part of that team. This Bud's for you.
Indy 500 champion Tom Sneva talks about a new performance gasoline from Texaco.
If you're into knots, move up to something new. Texaco's new Super Unleaded. Its stronger octane reading can help give you knock-free performance.
Right, chap. It's Superstar Power. Stronger octane to help knock out the knocks in virtually all cars using unleaded gasoline.
If that's the kind of performance you want, move up to new Texaco's Super Unleaded.
Start your engine with Superstar Power for more car power.
Household Finance is backing the Vitterittons.
I didn't know how our son would feel about his new sister. Naturally, we had to build a room onto the house for her, but I couldn't let him think he was any less important than the moment he came into my life.
If your homeowner's working for your family's future, Household Finance wants to back you with a homeowner loan that turns equity into capital for your goals.
We're here today giving folks a chance, backing you all the way. Household Finance.
Let's check the starting lineups for tonight's game. First of all, for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Steve Sachs will lead off. He's the guy that makes their offense go. They try to keep him off base. Batting second, Bill Russell, the shortstop, has always enjoyed good league championship series. He's a money player. A flip-flop in the third and fourth spot in the batting order. Pedro Guerrero hitting third tonight for Tom Lasorda. Steve Carlton pitched around him last time. They're putting Dusty Baker fourth in left field, hoping that perhaps Guerrero will see some pitches to hit. Batting fifth will be Mike Marshall, the first baseman. He's 1 for 11. That was a home run yesterday in the league championship series. Steve Yeager back in the lineup catching, the veteran. Some were surprised he did not catch yesterday. Ken Landreau in center field is going to bat seventh. Landreau 2 for 10, had trouble against Carlton last time. Darrell Thomas in right field. Thomas had 2 hits and 5 tries off lefty. He is a switch hitter. And batting ninth and pitching, Jerry Royce. Royce 0-1 in this league championship series, has never won one. He is 0-5 lifetime in league championship series play. For the Phillies tonight, Joe Morgan is going to lead off at second base. Joe just 1 for 11 in league championship series play. Has never enjoyed a good one, really. This is his 7th. Batting second will be Pete Rose. He's always enjoyed good ones. 364 this year, 382 lifetime. Mike Schmidt will be at third base. Schmidt having a good league championship series. And batting fourth in right field will be Sixto Lezcano. Lezcano, 1 for 9. He plays against the left-hand pitching. Gary Matthews will follow. He has been the star of the league championship series so far with 2 homers, 5 RBIs. And in center field will be Gary Maddox. Maddox has always hit pretty good league championship series, 3 for 7 in this one. Bo Diaz will catch, hitting 7th in his first league championship series. He's been a stalwart behind the plate, although hitless in this one. And Ivande Jesus, the steady shortstop, will hit 8th, 2 for 9 in this one. And Steve Carlton will pitch in bat 9th. Lefty won the first game of the league championship series, and lifetime he is 3-2 in LCS play. The umpires, Lee Wire calls the balls and strikes. Doug Harvey at first base. Jerry Crawford at second. Terry Tate at third. Down the left field line will be Dick Stello, and down the right field line will be John McSherry. Steve Carlton taking his warm-up tosses. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the Phillies solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Phillies is prohibited. The announcers on this telecast are employed through the Taft Baseball Company with the approval of the Phillies. The big left-hander during the regular season, won 15, lost 16. Lifetime, he's won 300 games. He's lost 200. He is 3-2 in league championship series play. 2-1 against Los Angeles. So it's a matchup of the 2 first-game pitchers. Both pitched excellent baseball. The Phillies hanging on to win that one 1-0 on a Mike Schmidt home run. This ballpark symmetrical. 330 down the lines, 371 to the power alleys, 408 to straightaway center. The ball carries quite well here. And leading off for the Los Angeles Dodgers will be Steve Sax. 3 for 11 in this LCS. He hit .281 during the regular season. Last year's National League Rookie of the Year. Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. The winner will play the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series. The Orioles winners in 10 today over the Chicago White Sox. 3-0 to wrap up the American League Championship Series. 1 strike to Sax. Kind of a cool evening at Veterans Stadium. Type of weather that Steve Carlton likes. Lined into right center field. Lezcano cuts it off. Will hold Sax to a single, but Steve Sax opens the ball game with a single to right center.
That's Sax's 4th hit off Carlton. He got 3 hits in the first game. The Dodgers lost that game, but Sax has hit Carlton very well in this LCS.
Here's Bill Russell in the first game. Russell was bunting in the first inning. Try to move Sax along. We'll see what happens. Carlton with a great pickoff move. Has him picked off. Rose to De Jesus, and Sax is out.
I can't believe Sax on that one. He just flat out left way too soon. I mean, way too soon. It's good to be aggressive, but there's no use being foolish about it. And he's out easily.
There's Carlton's move.
Carlton didn't even have to give him a good move there. Just had to throw it to Rose.
Bill Russell fouls one off, 1 strike to him. Russell hitting .300 in this league championship series. This is 5th. Came into this season batting .348 in LCS play. Bounding ball to Mike Schmidt. Bill Russell is out. 2 down in the first inning, and that'll bring up Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero is just 1 for 9 in this LCS. It was a big one, though, a game-winning blow in Game 2, a triple that chased in 2 runs. Missed inside, 1-0 to Pedro Guerrero. Missed the slider, 1 ball and 1 strike. Carlton led the majors in strikeouts with 275 of them. He is the all-time strikeout leader in Major League history. 3,709. Just missed. 2 balls and a strike to Pedro Guerrero. Inside with it, it's 3-1. He fouls it off. A full count to Guerrero. 2 outs, no base runners. Top half of inning number 1, League Championship Series, Game 4. Bounds a foul down the third base side. It'll go out of play. Count stays full to Pedro Guerrero. During the regular season, hit 32 homers, knocked in 103. Line down the left field line. That is a fair ball and into the corner. A ground rule double for Pedro Guerrero. So the pickoff of Steve Sachs looms important. Guerrero at second base with 2 down for Dusty Baker.
Guerrero, well, here's the pickoff move again. See Sachs leaving way too soon. Easy out.
Here's Dusty Baker hitting .273 in this LCS. This is 4th. He's had good League Championship Series. .375 his lifetime average in League Championship Series play. Ball and no strikes to Dusty Baker. Just wide with it. It's 2-0. Pedro Guerrero, second base. 2 outs. We're in the top of the first. Missed inside, falls behind Dusty 3-0, and Mike Marshall waits on deck. Walks Baker on 4 pitches, so the Dodgers have 2 men on base and 2 outs. And the batter will be Mike Marshall. Marshall, 1 hit and 11 tries in this LCS. Was a homer off Hudson yesterday. This is the guy with Guerrero hitting in the number 4 spot. Carlton pitched around Guerrero in a couple of instances on Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium and got Mike Marshall out. He beats a foul off his foot at the plate. 1 strike to Mike Marshall.
Might have been a little bit of a pitch around on Baker there.
Could have been.
I don't think Carlton really wanted to walk him, but I don't think he wanted to take a chance on giving him anything too good to hit with the base open.
2 men on base and 2 outs. We're in the top of the first. Fastball missed away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Foul tip on the slider. 1-2 to Mike Marshall. This crowd is really alive at Veterans Stadium in anticipation. Phillies up 2-1 in this National League Championship Series. Fastball away. It's 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes with Guerrero at second, Baker at first, and 2 outs in the top of the first. He struck him out. Marshall goes down swinging, and down go the Dodgers in the first. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. They leave 2. After 1/2, Los Angeles nothing. Phillies coming to bat.
Come the year 2020, your home may need repainting, repapering, and repairing. But you won't have to recaulk. Not if right now you try new GE Silicone 2. A caulk so advanced it'll stick practically everywhere and stay flexible for 50 years, right through the year 2020. New GE Silicone 2. The caulk with the future in it.
Digging each day and you take us along. When it's time to play, you're singing our song. Frank, popping with flavor, pick up an orange and chug it on down. Dry black cherry, the greatest around. Whenever you're thirsty and there's no time to waste, pick up a Frank, we deliver on taste. Frank, popping with flavor. Is it Frank's? Thanks.
Be a part of the excitement that's always part of the action of Phillies baseball. Now's the time to request 1984 Phillies season ticket information. There are numerous plans to fit any schedule and any budget. Just write Phillies season tickets, Post Office Box 7575, Philadelphia, PA 19101, or call 215-463-5000. Don't miss a chance for the best seat in town with Phillies season tickets for 1984.
Fans, if the Phillies win tonight's game, World Series tickets go on sale immediately following the game. The sale will take place at the Phil's main ticket office at Veterans Stadium. The ticket office will remain open throughout the night. Fans can purchase up to 4 reserve seats for each World Series game. These reserve seats are priced at $25 apiece. And only cash and money orders will be accepted. World Series dates in Philadelphia Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. October 14, 15, and 16 as Joe Morgan leads off and hits a bouncer to Sachs, who throws out Morgan, and there's 1 down on 1 pitch. If the Phillies do not win tonight's game, then there are tickets available for League Championship Series Game 5, played late tomorrow afternoon. We'll tell you about that a little later. Here's Pete Rose. 4 for 11 in this LCS, hitting .364, slightly below his career league championship average, which is the highest among any National Leaguer with 25 or more at-bats. 1 strike to Rose. Jerry Royce coming out smoking again. That's what he used on Tuesday. Just about all heat. Came right at the hitters with a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Royce, 34 years old. He has never won a League Championship Series game. He's 0-5 in LCS play. And the Dodgers have never lost the League Championship Series. They are 4-0 in LCSs. Ball and 2 strikes to Pete Rose. Fouls it out of play into the upper deck. Jerry Royce during the regular season won 12, lost 11, had a good earned run mark of 2.94. Punch shot down the right field line. It slices out of play. And it's still 1-2 to Pete Rose. In Royce and Carlton, you have 2 great competitors and 2 very fast workers. They get the ball and come after you.
Royce has thrown all fastballs so far, and in pretty good locations. He jammed Morgan with a pitch, and he seems to be working Rose away.
Hit pretty well to center field, but Landreau is right there, makes the grab, and Rose is out. That's 2 down. That'll bring on Mike Schmidt. Schmidt 4 for 10 in this LCS, a home run off Royce that won the game 1 on Tuesday at Dodger Stadium, 1-0. Mike's hit more career home runs off Jerry Royce than any other pitcher, 10 of them. And we'll see if Royce over the years has continued to challenge him. We'll see if he does here. Starts him with a breaking ball for a called strike. Ball on a strike to Mike Schmidt. 2 outs, no base runners. We're in the bottom of the first. We're scoreless. Two and one to Mike. Fastball into him. It's 3-1 to Schmidt. Sixto Lezcano due up next. Ground ball back through the middle. A base hit for Schmidt. So Mike Schmidt is a 2-out base runner for Sixto Lezcano.
I imagine Lezcano will see some of those breaking pitches. He is a dead fastball hitter. Every pitcher in the league knows it. And consequently, he sees a lot of sliders and curves.
Lezcano is 1 for 9 in this LCS. Hurt the Dodgers during the regular season while playing for San Diego. He hit .225, not a high average, but knocked in 11 runs against Los Angeles. He gets a breaking ball for a called strike. Missing with that breaking ball. It's 1-1 to Lezcano. Another breaking ball. So he has seen all curve balls, and he's behind in the count. 1-2 is Lezcano. Royce not giving him a fastball.
Lezcano's burned too many pitchers with fastballs, and I think they just keep throwing that breaking ball until he hits it.
Gets another curveball, rips it to left field, and it is hooking foul. Still 1-2 to Lezcano. He got another curveball, and he ripped it foul.
Yeah, he waited on it nicely. Put a good swing on the ball, but he sees it hooking and he doesn't even run.
Ball and 2 strikes to Lezcano. Fastball. He got one to hit, and he grounds a single to left field. So the Phillies have 2 men on base, 2 outs. For the Sarge, Gary Matthews.
Getting a standing ovation here. I think Lezcano's one of those hitters. You could throw him 99 straight breaking pitches, throw him one fastball, and be ready for it. Royce threw him a good fastball. It was down low. Toscano pulled it in the hole.
Matthews 5 for 11, 2 homers, 5 RBIs in this LCS, his first. Low and inside with a fastball. 1-0 to Gary Matthews.
Gary skipping a little rope. Get his feet out of the way.
Well hit to deep left. Goodbye. Way out of here. 3-0 Phils off the facing of the press box level. Gary Matthews, what a league championship series he's having, and the Phillies are on top 3-0.
His third homer, his 6th, 7th, and 8th RBIs. He stood at home plate and watched it. Ball deep into the bleachers. Giving the Phillies a 3-0 lead in the first inning. Watch this swing. Put everything he had into that swing. Watch him. He knew it when it was hit. Look at Steve Yeager, head going down.
3-0 Phils. Gary the Sarge Matthews now with 8 RBIs and 3 home runs in this LCS. He's popping out of the dugout. Gives the salute. Here's Gary Maddox. Curveball, he pops it up behind second base. Sachs drifting back, he puts it away, but draw a line under it. 3 runs in the inning, 3 hits, the big blow, the homer by Matthews. No errors, none left after 1. It's 3-0 Phils.
The perfect burger. That's a very personal thing. Roy Rogers gives me a head start with this great burger. Perfect is just a step away at Roy's Pre-Fixins Bar. Only Roy's gives me all I need to turn their great burger into my perfect burger. Perfect for me with lettuce, 3 tomatoes, 2 pickles, a little mayo, but no mustard. As I said, the perfect burger is a very personal thing.
I remember the crash and using our business-to-business directory to find a glazer who would come out right away. We used our business book when we needed a caterer for our first company picnic. When our old copier went on the fritz, our business-to-business directory saved the day. We even found a big selling idea. Whatever you need, whenever you need it, it's in the business-to-business directory. Use it.
Continental Bank is the financial force for our city, its suburbs and neighborhoods, and the entire Delaware Valley area. A force that generates growth and achievement. A force that can touch your life with a special momentum and meaning. Continental Bank offers a depth of financial service that can help you reach your personal or business goals.
Continental Bank, the financial force.
Well, we told you the Phillies win tonight. World Series tickets go on sale. If the Dodgers come back and win tonight's game, there are plenty of tickets available for the 5th and deciding LCS game tomorrow at 4:15. The main ticket office remains open until 11 tonight. We'll reopen at 9 tomorrow morning for that purpose. If necessary, it would be John Denny against Fernando Valenzuela, but that man has put the Phillies in front 3-0 after 1 inning. Yeager leads off for Los Angeles and misses a curveball. Yeager 0 for 4 in this LCS. Ball and a strike to him. While the first 2 games at Dodger Stadium of this LCS were sold out, the fans at Los Angeles were not a force. Not the case here in Philadelphia, where this gang tonight is really a force for the home 9. Joe Morgan puts that away. Yeager is out, 1 down. Matthews home run, another Getty goner, and the Getty Oil Company will send $25 in gas coupons to a local charity. He has a National League LCS record for most consecutive hits, 5 of them. The Sarge, coming off his least productive year in his career, is really making up for it in postseason play. Here's Ken Landreau, 2 for 10, takes one wide. Landreau trying to take Carlton's breaking balls to get in front. Bouncing ball to Joe Morgan. Landreau's out. That's 2 down here in the second. And it'll bring on Darryl Thomas, the switch-hitting right fielder.
Dodger bullpen activity already. I would guess that if Thomas gets on, Lasorda might even go to a pinch hitter this early. He has nothing to lose here in the early going. He has to try to get some runners on.
2 outs, nobody on base. 1 strike to Thomas, who went 2 for 5 in the first game of this LCS. Nothing in 2 to Darryl Thomas. There's the Dodger dugout. Jerry Royce due up next. Carlton missing a ball and 2 strikes. Beats it foul. Still 1 and 2. Phils are a phenomenal 63 and 25, counting this LCS, in games in which they have scored first. Have scored first here. Lead at 3-0. We're in the second. Charles Hudson, Von Hayes, Bob Dernier looking on. It's 2 and 2 to Darryl Thomas. He gets jammed, but he loops it into center field. That's going to drop for a hit. Well, Darryl Thomas, who got 2 hits off Carlton at Dodger Stadium, has picked up a hit. Jerry Royce will bat for himself.
Pretty good hitter. I guess that's one reason Lasorda wouldn't let him hit. Not too many left-hand hitters hit that well against Carlton, but Royce, I think, hit, what, 280 some on the season?
282.
Good hitting for an outfielder.
Had 2 doubles. Takes a slider for a called strike. 1 strike to Jerry Royce. Misses the slider. Nothing in 2 to him. Two strikes. He struck him out with a slider. No runs in the inning, 1 hit. No errors, they leave 1. We go to the bottom half of the second with the Phillies leading LA by a score of 3-0.
What does it take to excel?
You have my word. You'll get it tomorrow.
It takes reliability, speed, economy.
It takes express mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $9.35. Most others charge about twice that. We deliver over 90,000 packages on time every day.
You're a man of your word. I just got it.
Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
It's a sale only your Ford dealer could have. The Quality Plus Celebration Sale. Your Ford dealer has America's best-built cars and trucks. Not GM, not Chrysler. Plus, he's backing up Ford's quality with a 3-year extended service plan. Absolutely free when you buy a front-wheel drive 84 Tempo before October 31st. Hurry! The Quality Plus Celebration Sale ends October 31st. See your participating Quality Plus Ford dealer.
Outfield straight away with Jones especially deep. Bases loaded. 2 out. Full count. Bottom of the 9th. The pitcher winds. Delivers. It's a long fly ball. It's time. Jones is back.
Good evening. It's time for the live drawing of the daily number.
Play the daily number. Pennsylvania's favorite sport.
Tomorrow at noon, Dick Van Dyke and Bob Newhart star in Cold Turkey, followed by Roddy McDowell and Tuesday Weld in Lord Love a Duck. Tomorrow on TV 29. Bo Diaz leads off for the Phils. He is hitless in this LCS, nothing for 9. Bo will be followed by Abande Jesus and then Steve Carlton. Phillies lead 3-0 on Gary Matthews' 3-run home run. Matthews tying another league championship series record with consecutive home runs in 3 games, held by Hank Aaron in '69. Bo Diaz gets his first LCS hit, a line single to left, and Bo is a leadoff base runner. That'll bring on De Jesus. He is 2 for 9 in this LCS.
That's Bert Hooton getting up for the 2nd time in the Dodger bullpen. I don't think De Jesus will be bunting here with Carlton coming up next. I believe they'll let him swing away.
He is swinging. He grounds a foul back behind the plate. Nothing in 2 to De Jesus. One ball, 2 strikes, the count to De Jesus. Diaz first base, nobody out. Bottom of the 2nd, Phillies lead 3-0. Paul Owens and Bobby Wine. Lofts a high foul down the right field side. Thomas a long run and a great catch by Darrell Thomas after a long run in foul ground. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Phillies Television Network.
This is WTAF, TV 29 in Philadelphia.
Nice play by Darrell Thomas on the foul ball. Here's Steve Carlton. Lefty 0 for 3 in this LCS. Hit 196 during the regular season with 5 doubles. Carlton around a bunt, takes wide. Fred Robertson, assistant to the pastor at St. Peter's Lutheran Church in Bethlehem, is hoping for another baby daughter. He has a theory with women in his life. His mother was born in 1915, the year the Phillies won their first pennant. His wife born in 1950, year of the Whiz Kids. His daughter Karen Romaine born in 1980, and they're expecting another child this year.
That's what you call organization.
Figures the women in his life mean World Series play. Ball and a strike to Carlton. Drops the bunt down nicely. Yeager will have to go to first base. The sacrifice good by Carlton. It moves Diaz to second base. The play goes Yeager to Sachs for out number 2. And it'll bring on Joe Morgan, the top of the order. Morgan grounded out his first time up. Budweiser Light, the best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Enjoy a Bud Light tonight. Phillies lead 3-0. We're in the bottom of the second. Morgan hits it to right field deep, but it'll stay in the yard as Thomas makes the catch in front of the warning track. So the Phillies out in the second. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, leaving 1. And after 2, it's Phil's 3, Los Angeles nothing.
This Bud's for everyone who's in the groove. It's 5 minutes on the upswing of 5. Outside is 87 degrees under sunny blue skies. Stay tuned for my man Flash. I'm moving out of here, having myself an ice cold brew. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. All you do is for you.
I know. If a restaurant charged you extra just because you paid with a credit card, you'd probably never go there again. But that's what some gas stations are trying to get away with. Look, they say their cash island costs less. That means their credit card island costs more. Getty doesn't go in for that kind of fancy footwork. Cash, Visa, or MasterCard, it's the same low price. You don't pay a penny more to charge. We give you more credit than that. At Getty, the proof is at the pump.
I get paid good money to do this. It's a high-yield, high-risk job. But after I've earned my money, I'm through taking risks. So I head for the Provident. I'm investing in the Provident portfolio of certificates. It's a selection of insured investments with guaranteed interest. You got it. High yield, no risk.
You take enough chances earning your money. Don't take chances investing it.
The Provident portfolio of certificates for all the right reasons.
Well, we move to the third inning with the Phillies leading it by a score of 3-0 on Fanavision, featuring the Philly Fanatic.
See, one of the youngest fans in the ballpark.
Don't drop that baby, Fanatic. Steve Sachs will lead off. He singled his first time up. This fellow had a mental block on throwing in the middle of this season, but he hasn't made a throwing error since August 7th, so he evidently has conquered that. And I like him, Rich. He's a gamer, all-out ball player. Ball and no strikes to Steve Sachs.
Cuts a lot of hits, steals a lot of bases. Plays almost every game.
Ball and no strikes to Sachs. High with a slider. It's 2-0 to him. Claude Osteen and Paul Owens will be watching lefty. Carlton coming back with 3 days rest. He's done it several times during the season. Here's the pickoff move at first base. Got Sachs going way early. And probably cost the Dodgers a run. That's hit well to left field. Matthews back, though, at the warning track. He has room, and Sachs is out on a deep fly ball to left. One down. That'll bring up Bill Russell. Missed the slider. 1 strike to Russell. Russell's skills, I guess, are diminishing from when he first broke into Major League Baseball. He's been around with the Dodgers for a lot of years, but he still gets an awful lot out of his ability. Beats you in a lot of ways, doesn't dazzle you in the field. His arm pretty much is gone. There's Charles Hudson, winner of Game 3. Complete game win for him.
Russell thought he was going to be traded 2 years ago.
They say that Bill Russell probably has played out of position his entire career. They say when he first broke in, he was an outstanding center fielder. The Dodgers needed a shortstop.
Yeah, I remember when he first broke in, he was a good center fielder, and I think they still had Willie Davis then. I believe Willie Davis moved Russell to the infield, and he gets the job done. He can't make that strong throw the way he used to.
He struck him out with a slider. Strikeout number 3 for Carlton. 2 down here in the 3rd. That'll bring on Pedro Guerrero. The pitching machine. He had a cut at a fastball. He fouled it straight back.
Pedro has that good swing. No hitches in there. No extra movement. He just has his hands back and lets it fly.
Ground ball right back to lefty. Throws out Guerrero. Down go the Dodgers in the 3rd. No runs, hits, or errors. None left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Phils 3, Los Angeles nothing.
Coke is it, the most refreshing way to make the most of every day. And wherever you go and whatever you do, there's something big waiting for me and you. Coke is it, the biggest taste you've ever found. Coke is it, the one that never lets you down. Coke is it, the most refreshing taste around. Coke is it.
This is KYW News.
If you want to be a force in the news, you have to have a news force. An army of reporters, writers, editors, and anchors working 24 hours a day. Because news is always happening. Which is why we're all news all the time. KYW News Radio 1060. The news force. All news, all the time.
Personal Finance Reports weekdays with Charles Stout, only on KYW News Radio 1060.
3 years ago, Andrew Lucchetti was burned over half his body. It took months of therapy and a lot of help from the United Way before Andrew could make it. Today, he's helping other burn victims as a volunteer for a program supported by the United Way, because Andrew knows there are others who could make it if they had a little help.
I'm giving myself. Please give what you can.
The United Way.
Back at Veterans Stadium, Pete Rose will lead off for the Phils. Pete lined out to center his first time up. We are in the 3rd, and the Phillies lead 3-0 on a Gary Matthews home run. Ball and no strikes to Pete Rose. Loops one foul down the right field side. Ball and a strike to Rose. Game 4 of the LCS. National League champion will meet the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series beginning on Tuesday night at Baltimore. Bouncing ball. It's up the middle. It's a base hit for Rose. Rose's 5th hit in this league championship series. It's amazing. It doesn't matter what he comes into this any LCS at. He's going to get his hits. He has 5 of them in this one, and that'll bring on Mike Schmidt.
He's so tickled to be playing. He did not play much in September. Lynn Matuzik did most of the playing at first base.
Schmidt singled his first time up. He's 5 for 11 in this LCS. Fastball on the outside corner for a strike to him. Another fastball away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Schmidt.
Get some idea on this shot how it looks when you're a hitter. The ball gets in on you in a hurry.
Two and 1 to Schmidt. Bert Hooten again gets up in Los Angeles's bullpen.
Price has been working Schmidt outside, outside, outside. He will come in. If he's ever going to come in with that fastball, might be on this 2-1 count.
Low with it. 3-1 to Mike Schmidt. Rose at first, nobody out, bottom of the 3rd. Phillies on top, 3-0. Ground ball hit to Sachs. Sachs goes to Russell 1. The relay late, but they got the lead man Rose at second base. Sachs to Russell for out number 1. Schmidt safe at first on a fielder's choice. Rarely do you see Schmidt hit the ball to the right side of the diamond on the ground.
Almost looked like Schmidt tried to go that way.
I hope not with the count 3-1.
Well, it looked like he thought Rose was going. Rose was not going. Now, had Rose been going toward second, that's a good place to hit the ball for Schmidt. It probably would have been through because Sachs would have been covering the bag.
Here's Sixto Lezcano. He singled his first time up. Curveball high to him, 1-0. Gary Matthews due up next. High with it. Snap throw to first. Schmidt back. 2-0 to Lezcano. So Rice has missed it with a couple of breaking balls. Steve Yeager, rifle arm catcher. And Lezcano will look for a fastball here to drive. Got a fastball. It missed, and it's 3-0. 3 balls and no strikes to Lezcano. The Philadelphia force. Close to a capacity house, nearly sold out. He had a light and he missed it. 3-1. Line drive left field, but Baker's right there. Lezcano is out. That's 2 down, and that'll bring up the Sarge. Gary Matthews, 5 consecutive hits, 3 homers in 3 consecutive games. That ties an LCS mark, tying him with the great Hank Aaron. He is 6 for 12 in this league championship series with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. Missing with a fastball. 1-0 to Gary Matthews. His home run went off the facing of the press box level. Curveball. He hits it to the shortstop Russell, who flips to Sachs for the force on Schmidt. And the Phillies are out in the third. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, leaving 1. After 3, it's still Phil's 3, Dodgers nothing.
This Bud's for everyone who takes the power and sends it down the line.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beats is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place.
Believe it or not, there's finally joy in Mudville. Introducing the 1984 Toyota Tercel.
There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face.
This front-wheel drive Tercel will get you where you're going with more room inside than any other subcompact. The new Toyota Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car.
And finally, there is joy in Mudville.
Why do 100,000-mile flyers choose United?
Perhaps you've heard, my kind of town is Chicago is, and my kind of airline United is, because nobody gets you to the Windy City like they do. Nobody.
United flies the only wide bodies to Chicago with great connections west.
My kind of airline, at my kind of price.
People who fly for a living fly United's friendly skies.
If the Phillies win tonight's game, World Series tickets will go on sale immediately following the game. This sale will take place at the Phillies' main ticket office at Veterans Stadium, and the ticket office will remain open throughout the night. Fans may purchase up to 4 reserve seats for each World Series game. These reserve seats are priced at $25 apiece, and only cash and money orders will be accepted. World Series dates in Philadelphia are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. Andy Musser with us here in the 4th. Andy?
Thank you, Rich. Dusty Baker leads it off for the Dodgers, and he takes a ball. Carlton retired the Dodgers in order in the 3rd inning. Lefty picking up his 3rd strikeout of the game. Pretty strong showing for a man working on 3 days rest. Here's one that's hit deep to left field. Matthews, does he have a shot? No. Dusty Baker has hit a home run over his buddy Matthews' head, and the Dodgers are on the board. It's a 3-1 ball game. That is the first run the Dodgers have gotten off Carlton in league championship play this year. He and Holland combined for a shutout Tuesday.
Dusty's first home run, his first run batted in. And that's a signal. You know, the Dodgers are not going to just pack it in. He hit a fastball right into the Dodger bullpen.
Mike Marshall is at the plate. He had a home run yesterday. The Dodgers did not hit any home runs at Dodger Stadium, but they've had 2 here, and a wicked shot down the left field line. Schmidt made an attempt for it. Matthews will go to the corner to dig it out, and a stand-up double for Mike Marshall. So like you said, Whitey, the Dodgers are not going to go quietly.
Well, the Phillies, of course, are aware of that. Dodger team worked too hard to get here.
That's the 2nd double of the game for the Dodgers. Pedro Guerrero had a ground rule double. And Steve Yeager comes to the plate. Yeager gets a slider and misses it. In his only at bat, the Dodger catcher popped up. Yeager was going for the downs. No balls and 2 strikes on Yeager. Still nobody out here in the 4th inning as the Dodgers have come up with a home run and a double. And Yeager was hit. Yep, hit on the foot.
Carlton did not want to do that. He was ahead 0-2, got that slider down low and in, and got Yeager right on the toe, I believe. Here's the pitch. Yep, right on the end of the left, right in the front of the left foot.
And the Phillies get the bullpen up. Marty Bystrom begins to throw in the Phillies bullpen. The left-handed batting Kenny Landreau, who grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. He's around the sacrifice here, and they have him hung up. Being chased down by DeJesus. Tagged out. The other runner, Yeager, advances to second base, but the Phillies get a big out on the base paths.
That's the second base running error by the Dodgers tonight. Steve Sachs picked off earlier, and now Mike Marshall picked off. Diaz heads up. And they're going to get the lead runner. Yeager, of course, moved on up to second.
First out of the inning. And as Whitey says, Yeager now at second base, and a 1-strike count on Landreau. Breaking ball over for called strike 2. That's a big out for Carlton because things had not been going his way, and all of a sudden that takes the heart out of what could have been a huge inning for Los Angeles. Popped up, but foul, back out of play. 0-2 on Kenny Landreau. Darrell Thomas waits on deck. Tommy Lasorda and Nobi Kawana. Landreau has 2 hits and 11 trips in this series so far. Carlton gets him with a breaking ball. Foul tip. Strikeout number 4 for lefty. And Darrell Thomas comes up. He got a single. Phillies lead the Dodgers 3-1. Now here's Thomas. He's played both games in right field when Carlton has been on the mound. Darrell is a switch hitter, will bat right. Thomas, a .500 hitter, 3 for 6 in the series. We've already seen Thomas make a fine running catch tonight. That foul ball off DeJesus's bat. There's Marty in the bullpen. The Dodgers also have bullpen action. That ball was missed. Over to third base goes Yeager. Bob Welch and Joe Beckwith are throwing for the Dodgers.
That'll be a pass ball. That pitch was right in there. I don't know whether Diaz got crossed up or what. Ball hit him right on the wrist. I think everybody in the ballpark for a moment thought it was a foul ball, but it's striking a pass ball.
One ball and 2 strikes on Thomas.
Guess they scored that a wild pitch. I don't see how they could possibly have scored it a wild pitch.
Now the 1-2 delivery. Struck him out. So Carlton gets out of what could have been real disaster. The Dodgers get 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left on base. Middle of the 4th, Phillies ahead 3-1.
the numbers say it all. Girard's Gamma money market account, on average, has paid higher interest rates than the money market accounts of any other major Philadelphia bank. Higher even than the money market funds. That's an impressive fact, especially since Girard's money market account is as safely insured as a savings account. Furthermore, with a Girard money market account, you'll have access to your money 7 days a week, night and day. Sign up for Girard's money market account. There's no better way to make money with insured savings.
I don't have time to be a mechanic, but it's up to me to take care of the car. Well, me and the boys. The Pep Boys. Manny, Mo, and Jack. Since my dad was Chris's age, Pep Boys has been the place for service. Their mechanics do the job right the first time, and you can't beat the price.
Replace worn-out shocks with heavy-duty shock absorbers, $9.88 each installed. McPherson strut cartridges, also sale price, $77 a pair installed.
The Pep Boys, Manny, Mo, and Jack.
The three best friends our car ever had.
The Jeffersons are moving on up. Now, weeknights at 11 on TV 29.
Inflation hasn't hurt me one bit. Right now, I'm sitting on top of the world.
Congratulations, George. May I give you a suggestion on what to do with the North Pole?
Now, just calm down. He's not treating you like a kid. Just relax, and I'll get you some cookie.
You know, if you were a girl, I'd...
That's the Jeffersons. Now, weeknights at 11 here on TV 29.
Gorgeous night here in Philadelphia for Game 4 of this League Championship Series between the Phillies and the Dodgers, and the Phillies a chance to give all of Philadelphia a little reason to have a party tonight if they can hang on and win this game, which they are leading 3-1 as they come to the plate in the 4th inning. Gary Maddox leads it off, takes a breaking ball for ball 1. Maddox popped up in his only at bat. Maddox has had a good series. He's 3 for 8. Batting .375. It's ironic that both pitchers are working on 3 days rest, and Carlton did it 11 times during the year, and Jerry Royce was never called upon to do it until tonight. Maddox to be followed by Diaz and De Jesus. And that ball apparently hit his bat, so that'll be a strikeout. Maddox charged with a swing, and that'll be the first strikeout of the game for Jerry Royce. 1 down, 4th inning. Bo Diaz, who got his first hit of the series last time around. Bo 1 for 1 tonight, and in the series he is 1 for 10. Curveball is over for a strike. Solidly hit, but behind Davy Bristol, and the net works again. Can't beat a net.
Second ball that young man is plucked with that net.
Jerry Royce was a hot pitcher coming down the stretch this year, won 6 of his last 7 decisions. In his last 11 starts, he was 6-1 with a 2.19 ERA. Don't find many empty ones here tonight, certainly not in that area. Right to Guerrero, and Diaz is out. 2 up and 2 down. Roy Rogers has a special offer, a 99-cent hamburger if the Phillies win tonight. Just cut out the box score in tomorrow's newspaper and take it to Roy Rogers. Now Ivan De Jesus. He fouled out to Darrell Thomas, who made the good running play just in front of the tarp in right field. Nice basket catch by Thomas. That's one instance where you can understand that basket catch. Solid shot back the middle. Royce stuck the glove out, then got it out of the way in a hurry. Hit number 3 in the series for Ivan De Jesus.
And that takes the pitcher, or brings the pitcher to home plate, gets him out of the way for the next inning. And if Carlton gets a base hit, that's just gravy.
The Phillies got their 3 runs tonight when it started on a 2-out single. Look out right over the head of Carlton.
Fans misreading that high inside pitch. It was a high inside slider, and Royce is not about to knock Carlton down.
Lefty went 0 for 3 batting against Jerry Tuesday night at Los Angeles, striking out twice. Tonight he sacrificed in his only plate appearance. A look at De Jesus, who's getting a decent lead. Lefty pops a foul, so it's 1-2 in the count. Inside, 2-2 to Carlton. Lefty had a good year with the bat, had 19 hits, including 5 doubles. Lefty did not knock in a run until the game where he won his 300th against the Cardinals. Pop-up foul out of play, still 2-2 to Lefty. De Jesus making his way back to first. If game 5 in this series is necessary, it'll be at 4:35 tomorrow afternoon. John Denny will face Fernando Valenzuela. Here's a high bouncer back the middle. It is through for a base hit, and De Jesus will head for third. The Phillies have made good use of their home carpet in this game tonight. That's the 3rd one that I can recall that might have been outs at Dodger Stadium.
That high bouncer right off home plate. Nobody could get leather on it. Landreau wisely fielded the ball and ran it all the way into the infield.
So it's 1st and 3rd with 2 out. The Phillies coming up with another 2-out rally, just like they did in the first when they got 3 runs. And Joe Morgan, who has grounded out on line to right. Little Joe 0 for 2. He hit the ball hard last time. He asks for time. And Royce didn't see that time was called and delivers. Morgan 1 for 13 in this series. He's faced an awful lot of left-handed pitching after a very hot September and early October. A little bat handle pop. Mike Marshall, and he grabs it in foul ground to end the threat. Morgan got jammed, and he is the 3rd out. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. We finished 4 innings, and it's 3-1 Phillies.
This Bud's for everyone who takes on the heavy loads.
This Bud's for you. For all you do.
Just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, for all you.
The perfect burger. That's a very personal thing. Roy Rogers gives me a head start with this great burger. Perfect is just a step away at Roy's Free Fixins Bar. Only Roy's gives me all I need to turn their great burger into my perfect burger. Perfect for me with lettuce, 3 tomatoes, 2 pickles, a little mayo, but no mustard. As I said, the perfect burger is a very personal thing.
Presenting Sunoco's Sundial service. It's for people who want performance. Dial economy. It may have all the octane your car needs. If it doesn't, dial regular. It's our biggest seller. Or if your car needs more octane, dial plus. And for Sunoco's highest octane, dial all the way to super. That's Sundial service. 4 different unleaded grades for people who want performance. Only at Sunoco.
Weeknights at 5:30, join in the hilarious antics of Laverne and Shirley, followed by Happy Days again. And at 6:30, a full hour of MASH will keep you in stitches. Steve Carlton to work against the Dodgers here in the 5th inning. The Phillies are ahead 3-1. And Jerry Royce leading it off. He has settled down since being a little shaky in the 1st inning, and no thought for the Dodgers of pinch hitting here. They've had Bert Hooton up in the bullpen 3 times. Carlton has given up 5 hits, but he has 5 strikeouts. A ball and 2 strikes on Royce, who struck out the first time around, his only at bat. And lefty gets him again the same way, a slider out of the strike zone. Number 6 for Carlton, and 3 consecutive strikeouts.
Well, lefty just kept throwing Royce that slider, and see the trajectory. No wonder they don't hit many of those.
Now a tough out, Steve Sachs. Got a base hit and then hit one to the warning track in left field last time. He's 1 for 2. Sachs takes a strike. He seems to be a little more patient at the plate here than we've seen him. He's often a first ball hitter. He checked in time. 1 ball, 1 strike on Sachs. Big crowd here at the Vet tonight. Just a few empty seats way up high in center field. That's about it. Breaking ball over for a strike. The message board says, welcome Joey Bishop. Philadelphia zone. Line, but foul. The net works for the 3rd time. Hey, you'll be able to pay that thing off.
There's the pickoff. That
was in LA.
That was in the first game in Dodger Stadium.
Tonight, Sachs took off when Carlton moved over that way, and so technically it was a caught stealing rather than a pickoff, but he got him again. Here's a bouncing ball today, Jesus. Yvonne guns him down. Sachs is out, and he's always a big man to keep off the bases. 2 up and 2 down in the 5th. Bill Russell will come to the plate. The Dodgers have batted Russell down in the order, except against Carlton, where he's batted 2nd. Russell has grounded to 3rd and struck out. One of the last of the choke hitters. Tommy Lasorda is moving from one end of the dugout to the other, trying to change his luck a little bit, I guess. Foul.
There it is again, the net.
We've got a couple of competing nets down there, Whitey. I saw 3 of them hanging out there. Did you?
I think the 2nd net pulled that one in.
The Phillies will either play tomorrow or hopefully Tuesday night in Baltimore. They're already calling it the I-95 series. Should the Phillies and the Birds hook up? Birds earning their right to get there. Russell draws a 2-out walk. That's the 2nd walk issued by Carlton. The other was a pitch around of Dusty Baker. This was certainly no intentional thing here because he's got to face Guerrero, and Pedro's a guy who could tie this ball game. So that's a mistake that Carlton hopes he'll be able to get away with. But that definitely was something he didn't want to do. Batting practice pitcher Hank King and pitching coach Claude Osteen in the background there. You want to see Guerrero bat with the bases empty whenever possible. Ooh. That was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Wire probably realized he may have called that and went a little too soon. That had plenty of the plate.
2 balls and 1 strike. Paul Owens and Bobby Wine. Happy with a 3-1 lead, but not comfortable. Phillies have not been able to build on that lead. Meantime, the Dodgers got one back. Fouled away by Pedro, so now it's 2-2 in the count. The Phillies' well-rested bullpen will shortly come into play. Carlton needs, of course, to get through this inning for the victory, and probably would go further than this, but the Phillies have not used Willie Hernandez in a game in this series. And Holland is well rested at this point. The finisher. Reed certainly not overworked either. Anderson has not been in a game. Gross and Bystrom not in. So there are plenty of fresh arms to turn to should Carlton tire later on. 2-2. Just like going fishing.
They're biting tonight. It's the 4th one he's plucked.
You can count on that with Carlton's slider. The key man for the Dodgers, and he's got Russell at first base, so he could tie the game right here. Fouls it away, and Russell was moving. Steve Carlton set a record tonight, his 8th League Championship Series start, most for any pitcher. Lefty 3-2 in the LCS. Gonna see if Russell would leave again that time. Maybe he'd be able to surprise him. So a pair of walks, and Dusty Baker, who homered in his last at bat after drawing a walk the first time up, will bat here in a spot, and before he does, Diaz is going to go out to the mound, and the Phillies are going to get some action in the bullpen. Looks like Larry Anderson was up. Now let's see, looks like Willie Hernandez is getting up. Anderson and Hernandez will throw. They'll keep an extra careful eye on Carlton because of this 3-day rest situation and because of the importance of this game, of course. There's the Phillies bullpen, Anderson and Hernandez. Dusty Baker ripped one right on out of here last time. Carlton quickly got the first 2 outs as he struck out Royce and Sachs grounded out. A couple of bases on balls. And here's ball 1 to Baker. Phillies ahead 3-1, 5th inning. Foul. And the net didn't work that time. Hit a little too sharply, I guess. Carlton with a 1-1 count on Dusty Baker, who was flip-flop in the batting order tonight with Pedro Guerrero, probably to give Pedro a little better protection. Breaking ball, and Dusty went for it, did not connect.
Key pitches in this inning, in this ball game.
Two and two. Hasn't been an easy time of it for Carlton. He was able to retire the Dodgers in order only in the 3rd inning tonight. Got the first 2 here. The Dodgers don't have a hit in the inning, but a couple of walks. Now a full count on Baker. This is bad because the base runners will be off with the pitch, and should Dusty drive one to the gap, they might both score. The on-deck hitter is Mike Marshall. First and second with 2 out. Breaking ball, grounded foul. That's the thing about an experienced pitcher like Carlton. He doesn't have to come with a fastball in a 3-2 count. He's got the confidence to use that slider. Trying to work out of a 5th inning jam.
If he was ever going to throw that fastball, I would think this would be a good shot. And he's throwing Baker almost all sliders. That's what it was.
It was a fastball, and it skied to right field. Not deep. Lezcano moving on in. There's the catch. And the inning is over. No runs, no hits, 2 left. Middle of the 5th. Phillies ahead 3-1.
Only one car in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area is the official car of the Mummers Parade, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the 1984 Olympic Games. And now presenting the Buick Century Olympia, the commemorative car of the Olympic Games. Olympia is a quality car from Buick. Olympia, a car that will be produced only once, a car that will know no year. There's an Olympia waiting for you at your Philadelphia, South Jersey, and suburban Buick dealer.
When winter does its worst, be sure you've got the best. The Snapper single-stage snow thrower. It blows snow away like no other its size. Specially designed blades slash through even the stubbornest snow. The chute turns a full 220 repetition away.
Now the Phillies' 5th inning, and the Phillies have not scored since the first on the 3-run homer by Matthews. They have had 4 hits since that home run, but they have left 4 men on base. Still, the Dodgers are glum because there's no tomorrow for them unless they win tonight. Repositioning the defense, Pete Rose leads it off for the Phillies, and the first pitch to Pete is high, ball 1. Pete has lined out to center field and singled to center. Takes a strike, 1-1 to Rose. He'll be followed by Schmidt and Lezcano. All 3 players batting in this inning have had hits. Base hit by Rose. Pete starts it out. Second time in the game he has led off an inning with a hit. Hit number 45 in the league championship series for Pete.
He's having quite a series here. 3 hits yesterday, 2 in this ball game.
So Pete's at first to start it. And Mike Schmidt, who is 1 for 2 with a single, and he grounded into a fielder's choice. Schmidt batting .417 for the series. Mike's home run off Jerry Royce won the opening game at Dodger Stadium. Mike with 10 lifetime home runs off Royce, if you count that one. Of course, it isn't strictly kosher to go ahead and add the regular season stats to the league championship series stats. They are horses from a different fire department, if you will. Two and 0. Dodgers getting their bullpen up again. Joe Beckwith is throwing. There's Joe. He was the one Dodger pitcher that blanked the Phillies yesterday. Beckwith went 2 innings and gave up only a hit and no runs. The Phillies scored off everybody else. A solid shot deep left center field. In play off the fence. Pete Rose digging hard. He's going to score. Schmidt's got a stand-up double. Phillies lead it 4-1.
Boy, did Schmidt smoke that ball. I mean, he nailed it. Tommy Lasorda is headed out to the mound, and I'm sure that's going to be all for Jerry Royce. Schmidt has put the Phillies ahead 4-1, his second hit of the ball game. Took that one bounce right at the bottom of the fence. Came right straight up in the air. Now that's what allowed Rose to score. The ball bouncing right straight up. You can stand there and wait for it. That's all you can do. Phillies might make some changes here. They could go with the left-hand batter against the right-hander Joe Beckwith. Jerry Royce leaving the ball game. A pitching change for the Dodgers. Phillies leading 4-1. We'll be back in a moment.
Watch a full hour of MASH at 6:30 on TV 29.
Town comes up with a bright idea for making money. They take a challenge to give up smoking for 1 month to win $25 million. But a public relations man is out to sabotage their efforts in cold turkey. Followed by Roddy McDowell and Tuesday Weldon, Lord Love a Duck. And tonight at 11:30, listen to hot music on the Hodenworth Show. And at midnight, join us for the Nightlife Theater and cruise down Van Nuys Boulevard. A right-hander who was effective against the Phillies yesterday, Joe Beckwith, will be in to pitch here. Still nobody out in the inning. Joe Beckwith. During the year, the Phillies did not see Beckwith. Hadn't seen him until yesterday. He was 3-4 with the Dodgers this year in 42 games with a 3.55 earned run average. He had one save.
Like Lascano's going to stay in the ball game. I do think that he's going to try to bunt, though, and move that runner up with nobody out.
Phillies scoring for the first time since the opening inning. And once again, for the second time, Schmidt was involved. He got a 2-out single to start that opening rally. And he gets a double here to drive in the run. Beckwith, 28 years of age, missed the 81 season because he had left eye surgery to clear a double vision problem. And he was just kind of worked back in the last couple of years. Throws a palm ball. The Phillies have never beaten Beckwith. He has 1-0 lifetime against the Phillies. Beckwith in relief of Jerry Royce. Second game in a row as we check Paul Owens that the Phillies have been in the Dodger bullpen fairly early. Nobody out in the fifth. Phillies have out hit the Dodgers 9-5 and lead it 4-1. Lascano around to bunt. He did not touch that ball. That was just dropped by Yeager, so that's ball one. Two 2-0 to Lascano. Phillies would love to get another run out of this, and they've got Schmidt at second with nobody out. What a series Schmidt's putting together, too. Going to be tough to top Matthews' effort, but Schmidt's right there. Here's the bunt. It's a good one.
In a hurry.
Just got him. Marshall to Sachs covering. Schmidt to third. Listen to the hand for Gary Matthews, who had 4 straight hits, including a 3-run homer tonight, until he grounded out in his last at bat.
And they're not going to take any chances with Matthews. They're going to walk him.
That's respect right there. Sarge will get the intentional walk. Something we didn't see much for the Sarge this year with the kind of season he had. This will be the first Philadelphia batter walked in the game. Phillies ahead 4-1, trying to nail down the pennant tonight. You know, the Phillies have never won a pennant in Philadelphia. In 1915, in 1950, and in 1980. They won all 3 pennants that this franchise has won out of town. Of course, they did win their world championship here in 1980, but never the pennant.
That's what's great about this ball game. Gary Matthews, not that long ago, couldn't have bought his way into the lineup. He was sitting on the bench. He's having a great championship series here. He's sitting on top of the world. That's what it can do to you. They can sit you up on top of the world and then dump you right down.
Now here's Maddox. He has popped up and struck out tonight. Gary 3 for 9 in the series. The Dodger infield looks for 2. Time called.
Schmidt talking it over with third base coach Dave Bristol. Schmitty's the one that called time.
Now in the Dodger bullpen, right-hander Pat Zachary, left-hander Rick Honeycutt throwing. Maddox takes ball 1.
Here's a guy, Gary Maddox, who's sat on top of that whirl and has also been dumped on a few times. He's been both places.
The ball nearly eluded Yeager, but he kept it in front. No chance for Schmidt to advance there. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Phillies Television Network.
This is WTAF, TV 29 in Philadelphia.
Gary just swung at a ball that bounced up there. He's anxious to hit, I guess.
Dodgers call a pitch out, looking for the squeeze play, which is interesting because we don't think they do it, do we?
No, Maddox doesn't bunt very well, doesn't like to bunt. I don't think there's any chance he'll be bunting. None at all. Maybe the Dodgers thought they had picked off a sign.
Throw over to first, chasing Matthews back. Mike Schmidt at third base. Phillies would love to get him home with another run. They lead 4-1, scoring for the first time since the opening inning. Strike to Maddox, and Gary didn't think so. I guess you don't think so either.
Oh, it's terrible call. Terrible call. Not only low, but inside. Lee Wire's a good umpire, too. He ordinarily wouldn't miss a pitch like that. That wasn't even close to the strike zone.
Knocked down, and Beckwith didn't know where to go. Safe at the plate. Beckwith botched that play. I don't know why he didn't come home right away, but he didn't, and the Phillies lead it 5-1.
Exactly right. That was the only play he had. He didn't have the double play. Here it is. He made a good play, knocking it down. He looked towards second. Now he knows he should go home, but it's too late as Schmidt slid in under the throw. That'll be a run batted in and a fielder's choice. Beckwith could have made the out of home plate. He could have made it at second. He could have made it at first. He didn't make it anywhere, and it hurt him.
So the Phillies have a 4-run lead for the first time. The batter will be Bo Diaz. Tommy Lasorda, not much to smile about tonight. Bo has singled and grounded to third. Still only one out in the inning. Phillies at first and second. Breaking ball is over for a strike. Tommy Lasorda has walked out of here happy on a couple of occasions. The Dodgers beat the Phillies in the LCS, both in '77 and again in '78. Bo takes high. Joe Beckwith in relief of Jerry Royce. All 5 runs have been charged to Royce. Low, 2-1. A look at the runners first and second. 1 out on the inning. That was the sacrifice. A little chop toward third. Stays fair. Pedro Guerrero throw to first in time for the out. Runners advance. A kind of a swinging bunt kind of play. Diaz retired for the second out, but the runners move up for De Jesus.
Yeah, nice play by Guerrero. Only play had. Diaz did not get out of the box at all. That gave Guerrero a little extra time and go out easily at first.
Now they're going to walk De Jesus, I guess, and pitch to Carlton. De Jesus to get 4 wide ones. They'll take their chances with lefty, who got a base hit the last time, but it's certainly good strategy. De Jesus also got a base hit the last time. So Beckwith has come into the game and has had to issue 2 intentional walks. Meantime, in the Dodger bullpen, right-hander double chicken. Pat Zachary and Rick Honeycutt continue to loosen. Phillies lead at 5-1, 5th inning. Bases are loaded. Tom Lasorda coming out. He may bring Honeycutt in to face Carlton, you think?
Looks like that's what he's going to do. Lasorda has had to go to his bullpen early in this game and yesterday's game. Something he, of course, didn't want to do. Anytime you go to that bullpen, you're usually in trouble. Pat Zachary, the right-hander. Rick Honeycutt, the left-hander.
He has just made the call, Whitey. He's going to go to the left-hander.
Lasorda is trying to stay out of a disastrous inning. It's bad enough for him the way it is. He's trailing 5-1 in the ball game. Pitching change for the Dodgers. The Phillies lead at 5-1. We'll be back in a moment.
29 weeknights for a full evening of fun. At 5:30, join the wacky antics of Laverne and Shirley, followed by Happy Days again. And at 6:30, a full hour of MASH will keep you in stitches. Then at 7:30, catch Taxi. Monday, Jim cleans up his act and escorts a nervous Elaine to an elegant society party. And at 8, find out what happens when an ambitious company clerk lends his apartment to company executives who can help him. Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine star in The Apartment. The left-hander Rick Honeycutt, who beat the Phillies twice just after joining the Dodgers from Texas this year in a trade for Dave Smoke Stewart. But you can see that he was not quite so successful against the Phillies yesterday. Worked a third of an inning yesterday, gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. And he has not had much success since the Phillies were not his opponents. The only team he beat since joining the Dodgers were the Phillies. He will be in here with the bases loaded and 2 out, facing Steve Carlton, who got a base hit back the middle of the last time up. The Phillies already lead the game 5-1. And we're looking at Penn's Landing. This city is a party waiting to happen tonight. Baltimore Orioles wrapped up the American League pennant today. Took them into the 10th inning to do it when ex-National Leaguer Tito Landrum hit the home run that did it.
He hit a tape measure shot against the wind in that game, and then the Orioles scored 2 more after that. But Landrum, the hero for Baltimore, of course, great Baltimore pitching in that series, really shut the White Sox down.
There's Beverly Carlton saying, "Come on, lefty, get a hit here." Beverly looks nervous, doesn't she?
Yeah, Beverly's not that relaxed.
Honeycutt acquired from Texas and then given a big multi-year contract. He was eligible to be a free agent. That's why the Rangers were willing to make a deal. Honeycutt won the American League ERA title this year. Lefty checked his swing in time. 1 ball, 1 strike. A double wish.
That's Beverly, I believe. Nope. That's somebody with
Beverly's friend.
Looked like Lynn Montgomery. I'm not sure. Dave Montgomery's wife.
And lefty strikes out. So Lasorda had the right idea in bringing in Honeycutt. The inning is over, but the Phillies have gotten a couple of runs here in the inning. They do so on 2 hits, and they leave the bases loaded. At the end of 5, Phillies lead the Dodgers.
She get involved. Watch this. Steve, can't you do anything?
Mike Marshall, meanwhile, fouls it away, 0-1. And I am sure that somewhere in Arizona, Audrey Garagiola is saying, I know the feeling.
A million times.
Down in the Philadelphia bullpen, Ron Reed is loosening up. 1-1 to count. Mike Marshall struck out, doubled, and then was picked off second base in the 4th inning. Just missed. There's Ron. 2 balls and 1 strike to count to Marshall. Yeager to follow. And Carlton behind 3-1. Of course, he has the luxury of a 5-1 lead. Phillies scoring 3 in the 1st and 2 in the 5th. Ball to right field, coming over is Lescano near the track, but he's not on it to handle it. 1 away.
And for Steve Carlson, that was his 100th pitch. I really believe that 6 innings is what Owens was looking for.
Yeah, because he's got too far to go. 100 pitches with 1 out in the 6th inning. They tell me that John Denny is even stronger than Carlton, but of course he's younger. They say Denny might be the strongest man in the league.
I read that and I asked Denny. He just smiled and he said, that's paper talk.
I read it too. Strike to Yeager. Yeager popped up and was hit on the toes in the 4th inning. That was when Baker had homered. The Dodgers were trailing 3-1. Marshall doubled. Yeager hit by the pitch, and the Dodgers had the tying runs aboard and nobody out. Landreau tried to bunt the first pitch and missed, and Diaz picked Marshall off second base. And the Dodgers then proceeded to go quietly as Landreau and Thomas struck out. That's the closest the Dodgers have come in the game, and they're now down 5-1. That's in the dirt. One and 2 to count to Yeager. 1 out, 6th inning. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Phils. 1 run, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Royce, Beckwith, and Honeycutt, and Steve Carlton for Philadelphia. Fastball whacked into left center field. That has a chance to go to the fence, and Maddox cuts it off on the track, and by that time Yeager is into second base anyway. So a 1-out double by Yeager gives the Dodgers 3 doubles and a home run, but only 1 run. And the batter will be Kenny Landreau. Landreau grounded out and struck out. He's hitting less than 200 and has 2 hits in the series. He'll be followed by Darrell Thomas. 0-1. Look at him clench on that big breaking ball. That is really eating him up.
He's starting the curveball inside and it's just snapping right off. That's as good a curveball as I've seen Carlton have. It's a little tough to hang in there.
1-1. Half swing, fouled it back. 1-2 to count to Landreau. Landreau, like so many hitters, asking the plate umpire, did I swing at a strike?
You throw a curveball and he makes you flinch. Throw one half swing, hits you. This pitch, it's almost like somebody put handcuffs on you and you expect you to hit.
1-2. Big for 3, 7 strikeouts for Steve Carlton. Another magnificent performance by the big guy. Take another look.
Way out in front. He swung over it, and even had he made contact, he would not have been able to drive it.
Moda was trying to say to him, if you can't pull that breaking ball, so if you're going to go after it, try to take a shot to left field. But Landrus is flying open and coming up empty. And here's Darrell Thomas. Singled and struck out, 1 for 2. Of course, in a sense, Joe, when you look at the two benches, you get an idea. Just take right field. The Phils can play Lescano or Lefebvre or Hayes, just to mention 3. And against a left-hander, the Dodgers have to play a kid who's a utility player and a good one, but not a right fielder. So there's a definite difference as far as the decks that are being dealt out from each dugout. 0-1. Breaking ball grounded to Pete Rose, and he'll do it himself. And so Carlton has gone 6 innings. How much more Owens wants out of him remains to be seen. And he gets an ovation from, among others, to no surprise, from his wife. The loudest applause in the place. Phillies 5, Dodgers 1, into 5½. NBC Sports, right on the ball, sending you the Championship Series, the story of the American League and the National League. And we would certainly be remiss if we didn't express our appreciation to our executive producer, Michael Weissman, producer George Finkel, and director Harry Coyle, and to all of those who have helped bring the 1983 season right to the point, and we're on point right now.
And Mario Charlo, who's been with us for so long, this is his last baseball season, and founder of great Italian restaurants in South Philadelphia.
There's Mario.
There's Mario, the headset on.
How many years, Mario? 25. Wow.
Just think he can go back home now, go in the backyard, dig out all those cans with the money in it.
Here's 40-year-old Joe Morgan, who doesn't believe in hanging him up. Grounded out, flied to right, and fouled out. Little Joe 0 for 3. Honeycutt bouncing one, and the count 1-1. Morgan, Rose, and Schmidt. Give the 6th inning. Phillies 5 runs, 9 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 6 hits. Morgan, along with 2 others, are the only National League players to ever win the MVP in back-to-back years. Marshall's out of the play, so Honeycutt has to handle Sack's throw in time. Good play. The other 2 with those credentials are Mike Schmidt and Ernie Banks. 1 away.
Sachs made quite a play, and Vin's been alluding to it. He's been talking about it, that his throwing problems are over. And here's a pretty good example of why you would say that, because Marshall can't get it. Sachs has to get it, wait for Honeycutt, and he throws him a strike. That was a good play.
He has not made a throwing error, Joe, since the 5th of August. So that's a good stretch. Over 2 months, you have to say it's behind him.
And I tell you, be you a baseball fan, you have to root for that kid, because he went through just living hell.
Oh, and hell. Here's Pete Rose, who is 2 for 3 tonight, and he's a very big booster of Steve Sachs. They're close pals. Of course, Rose is a big booster of everybody. He has been given 2 of the great gifts. First, good health, and the other, boundless enthusiasm. 1-1. Don't you just love to be around enthusiastic people?
I mean, everything, you know, he comes down on Christmas morning, he knows there's a pony somewhere, it's just not in the house yet.
When he says hello, it'll last you all day.
That's right.
Rose followed by Mike Schmidt. 5-1 Philadelphia in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2. The ominous note keeps getting taller and taller. The team that scores first wins. The other ominous note, as far as the Dodgers are concerned, their inability to come from behind. Ground ball to Russell. Over to Marshall. 2 down. For the Dodgers, they have, if memory serves me correctly, 3 come-from-behind games since the middle of July, when they are trailing in the 7th inning. And I realize that doesn't sound like much, but you think about that. From the 7th inning on, Lasorda is almost beaten. One of the 3 victories was perhaps the most important Dodger win of the year, when they came up with 4 in the bottom of the 9th to beat the Braves 7-6. Just like for Philadelphia, perhaps their biggest day their 11-game winning streak when they swept the doubleheader, Montreal. Here's Mike Schmidt. Ball one. Mike is singled, hit into a force play, and doubled. His double got Rose home, and his single came with 2 out in the first inning. It was followed by Lescano's single, and that was followed by Matthews' explosion. 2-0.
And Ben, you know, in that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, Mr. T.L. Holland will be the man that Owen will lean on. And was he ready to pitch when we saw him on the bench?
He was dying from inactivity.
He was mad because I haven't pitched in 3 days. I haven't pitched in 3 days.
The 2-0 pitch, line drive, base hit into left field. Mike Schmidt now is really hot. He's hitting .500, 7 for 14. And that's his 3rd hit tonight.
And when he talks about hitting, he can talk to you about the mechanics. He'll tell you that I have the Charlie Lau theory, the Hank Aaron top hand, and the Rose intensity. But the important thing to him is the rhythm. He thinks the hitter has to get in rhythm, that his brain has to get into a flow. Brother, he's in a flow.
And once again, when you look at the season series and then try to apply it to a league championship series, you see it just doesn't matter. The Dodgers won 11 out of 12 from Philadelphia, winning 6 straight at Dodger Stadium, winning 5 out of 6 here. But you look at Philadelphia now, the way they've been playing in this league championship series, you just, not only do you just count it, you can't believe it could have happened. We have an MVP vote, a collective vote here at the end of the year for the series, not for the game, if indeed the series is concluded tonight. 1-1.
Interesting.
And we also have our usual NBC Miller highlight.
Guys that come to mind.
Carlson.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
And Carlson.
No. How about Schmidt? You just talked about him.
Hitting .500.
Yeah. That's not too bad.
Not too shabby.
That's good on the playground.
Yeah. Carlton has 2 victories if he wins tonight. Schmidt is hitting .500, and Matthews has 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. Now, what do you do with the award?
I think you buy a trailer or something.
5-1 Philadelphia, bottom of the 6th inning. Rick Honeycutt, the 3rd Dodger pitcher. Jerry Royce, followed by Joe Beckwith, and then Honeycutt. Mike Schmidt at first, held on by Mike Marshall. And Sixto Lescano, 1 for 2 at the plate. Breaking ball missed the outside corner, 2-2. Lescano singled to left, lined out to left, and sacrificed. Most importantly was his single to left that extended and prolonged the 1st inning and allowed Gary Matthews to hit a cherry bomb up into the seats. Fouled away. 2-2. 5 runs, 10 hits for Philadelphia. They have left 7. 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. They have left 7. Phillies are red, Dodgers are blue, 6 to beat L.A., the Phillies will 2. There's a great rivalry between these cities in 2 sports. 2-2 pitch. Just missed. Boy, that's a tough pitch to take. So Honeycutt goes 3-2 to Lescano. And with 2 down, Mike Schmidt will be going from first.
Mike Marshall drops behind him, so Schmidt will be able to get a pretty good lead at first base.
And on deck, Gary Matthews. 8 RBIs. 3 home runs. 3-2. Schmidt goes, and the breaking ball is hammered to left field. That's high and long and gone. Sixto Lescano. Lescano had 11 RBIs and 2 home runs against the Dodgers when he was with San Diego. And he brings some firepower to the park tonight with a single and a 2-run home run. And it is now Philadelphia 7 and the Dodgers 1.
He pumps that bat, and he knows when he touches it off. He just kind of jogs, watches it. They want him to come out.
And the batter is Gary Matthews. Lescano led the Phillies with 24 RBIs against left-hand pitchers. Right. 1-1 to count. 7-11. Well, the Phillies have rolled it tonight. 1 run and 6 hits for the Dodgers. The only run, a home run by Dusty Baker. Out of the way. 1-2. So the Phillies are getting closer and closer to Baltimore. Look at his numbers. One reason why they're on their way. We're World Series. Indeed, as Joe mentioned earlier, there are people outside in sleeping bags waiting to buy tickets for the World Series. Strike on the corner. That'll do it for Gary Matthews. However, Honeycutt gives up a single and a home run with 2 outs. At the end of 6, Phillies 7, Dodgers 1. The Phils get a standing ovation. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Philly fanatic in high spirits, top hat and tails and walking cane. And the Phils leading 7-1. Phils make a couple of changes. Greg Gross is now in left field. And on the mound, big Ron Reed trying to finish up for Steve Carlton. 7-1 Philadelphia. Landestor is hitting for Honeycutt. Strike 1. Raphael, a switch hitter, and the count 0-2. So Steve Carlton wins 6 innings, allowed 1 run and 6 hits. Struck out 7, walked 3, hit a batter, and Reed strikes out Landestor. 1 out in the 7th inning. Yesterday we had 53,490. And there were several thousand empty seats because of the tragedy in the oil spillage and resultant fire. Tonight, I would guess, we would have a lot more than 53,000. 1 out, and Steve Sachs. Single to right, fly to left, grounded to short. And Ron Reed, off the campus of Notre Dame, who played basketball with the Detroit Pistons. Great all-around athlete, working on Sachs. 0-1.
He has that great relief pitcher's mentality that he's fearless, gets the ball over, and is a practical joker. He comes in, bangs on the dugout. It's a tin dugout, and everybody thought they were inside a bell.
Half swing. He really didn't take a good hard cut at it, and he grounds to DeJesus. So Sachs got cheated on that swing. 2 out in the 7th. And the batter will be Bill Russell. Russell grounded to third, struck out and walked. It is a long way from the first day of spring training to tonight. The rewards evidently will go to Philadelphia as they lead the Dodgers 7-1. Right. The Dodgers and Phils splitting the 2 at Dodger Stadium. And the Phils trying to win 2 here. A little pop fly back at first. Rose and Lescano, and it will land fair. What a pickup by Lescano. He threw it out to DeJesus. What a play by Sixto. Can't believe he did that. And neither can Russell. How could he short hop that ball?
He slides and short hops it right here. Watch this, and almost like a down and up slide. He comes up, has a fine arm, knows exactly what he has to do. It skips off the artificial surface, and Russell is out. The Phillies are really on the roll. You talk about playing championship baseball, and Russell thinks, what's going on?
What a play by Sixto, and the Phillies lead 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Here's that incredible play by Lescano. How many times have you seen a ball hit that close to the line, not be a 2-base hit? He comes up with it, a slide, and with a good throw. Look at it skip off the artificial surface, and DeJesus Always the man on the spot. Remember, he was the one, as you look at Lezcano, who got behind Marshall when Landreau didn't bunt and Diaz threw the ball, and they picked Marshall off. He's in the right spot at the right time. Great play, Ben.
Oh, it had to be a great play. And, of course, Russell is not about to gamble with the Dodgers down 7-1. He was sure he had a lock on a double. And Lezcano just made a brilliant play. I also should give a pat on the back, the broad back, of John McSherry. His reflexes were so sharp, he would have been decapitated by Lezcano's throw if once he called the ball fair, he didn't duck and get out of the way. Because Sixto had big John McSherry in his way. And he really whistled that ball into DeJesus. Magnificent. Here's Gary Maddox now, opening up the bottom of the seventh. 7-1 Philadelphia. Pat Zachary doing the pitching. And the count 2-1.
He stumbled coming off as we look at Bobby Wine and Paul Owen in that little cubby hole there. Pitchers have problems sometimes with the landing area of the other pitcher, and that's what they have to find, is that spot that they have to land.
And here's the chant again. Beat L.A. Beat L.A. It reminds me of a year ago on the final Sunday when the Dodgers were in San Francisco. Atlanta had lost in San Diego, and the San Francisco crowd, with great, almost animalistic fervor, hollering beat L.A., and Morgan hit the 3-run home run to do just that. Line drive at Russell. One away.
You're wondering what's going on outside. The people, there's a lot of activity. They're lining up. They've got the barriers set up. They want to have their victory party, and they're also getting ready to buy the World Series tickets.
So with one out, Bo Diaz, single to left, grounded to third twice. He's 1 for 3. Right. 7 runs, 11 hits for the Phils. 1 run, 7 hits for the Dodgers. In the bottom of the 7th, 1 away. Diaz made a big contribution in this ballgame way back in the 4th inning when it was still a game, and now he contributes again as he hits it inside third down the line. A fan touched it, so it'll be a ground rule double. Remember, Diaz picked off Mike Marshall in the 4th inning. A very big play at the time.
Guerrero gives it good effort, tries to backhand the ball. It's by him, the artificial surface. He shoots right through.
That's the 3rd time that Diaz hit the ball down to third, and he finally got one by Guerrero. So Bo is 2 for 4. Hit number 1 off Zachary. Hit number 12 for Philadelphia. And DeJesus the batter. And of course, for the Dodgers, they have to think very realistically that you're not going to go very far on 1 run anyway. And that's all they've got. A home run by Dusty Baker has been more a whimper of protest than anything else in the 4th inning. 1-1.
And Ben, should it continue the way it is, the Phillies, the World Series opens on Tuesday. They'll be in pretty good shape with their pitching.
Yeah, because John Denny will be ready to pitch the opener. The Dodger bench, maybe some thoughts of what might have been as Sachs goes out into shallow right. That's the 2nd out of the inning. And the batter will be Greg Gross. Remember, Gross and Reed came into the game at the same time. Gross is hitting 9th. Reed is in Gary Matthews' spot. So a runner at second base with 2 out in the 7th inning. Bo Diaz anchored at second, and Gross trying to pick him up. Greg 0 for 4, but a solid 300 hitter throughout his career. And in the month of September, I mean when they were really down to the nitty-gritty, battling Pittsburgh and Montreal, Gross hit 370 in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. And Yeager might have been crossed up. He wants to go out and talk to Zachary.
Sure he was. When you see a catcher jump up like that and go out and talk to his pitcher, that's about what happens. Now, Zachary's having all kinds of problems with the landing area. You see him pointing to it and Yeager looking at it. It'll throw you off balance, and he's going to try to do a little gardening himself.
Yeah, he inherits a spot that has already been chewed up by 5 different pitchers of different sizes. And now suddenly he's trying to find the landing area.
gets to be a job sometimes. When Al Howland comes in sometimes, it take him 5-10 minutes to get the right spot.
1-0 the count. Bob Welsh was saying that this mound, it can't be any higher than any other mound, but apparently it is steeper. It is a deeper fall off from the rubber.
And that can affect you when that happens.
Oh, I guess. Remember in the old days when they would tailor the mounds so that if you had a breaking ball stab, you kind of have a low, flat mound. And if you had a fastball stab, it would be like standing up on top of a needle.
And a lot of times in the bullpen, they'd give you nothing. They'd give you a flat mound. You'd warm up there, and you'd come in. You'd think you were pitching on top of a mountain.
Only in the visiting bullpen.
Right.
Yeah. 2-1 to count. Line to right. Thomas is there, and what's that?
He didn't see that ball. He may have lost it in the lights. I really believe he did, because it looked like he had it all away, and then all of a sudden, he thought he'd better get his head out of the way.
So Darrell Thomas spears that bullet. They leave Diaz at second base, and then there are some who just sit and die a little on the inside. At the end of 7, the Phils 7 and the Dodgers 1. In the bottom of the top of the 8th inning, with Philadelphia leading 7-1, Guerrero, Baker, and Marshall against Ron Reed. Interesting, even though the Dodgers switched Guerrero and Baker, trying to put extra pressure on Carlton. The fact that the Dodgers have been unable to beat left-handers all year with any kind of rhythm. They had won only 9 and they lost 21 during the regular season. That's a strike, 1-1. And now 0-2. So their inability to hit and hurt and defeat left-handers has really been a glaring weakness, exploited, of course, by Steve Carlton. And if need be, they will get another further dose of a left-hander. Down in the Philadelphia bullpen is Mr. T, Al Holland. 0-2. There he is, restless from inactivity. Saying before the ball game, I need work. 0-2 the count to Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero doubled, hit back to the box, and walked in the dirt. You know, Pedro is from a little town in the Dominican Republic, little in the sense they have about 10,000 people there. It's San Pedro de Macorís. It's hard to believe that from that little town you have Pedro Guerrero, Juan Samuel, Rafael Ramirez, Julio Franco, Toronto shortstop Tony Fernandez, and George Bell. Base hit. They all come from San Pedro de Macorís. So Guerrero singled.
Pete Rose at first base. Telling him he's going to play halfway, but you know he's thinking about, I'm going to be in another World Series. It's been kind of a bitter, tough year at times, but World Series really wipes a lot of bitter memories.
And anything and everything you say about Rose, you can just move the camera over and put it right on Joe Morgan. Here's Dusty Baker with Guerrero at first. Right. Baker walked homered and flied to right.
And the same thing you said about Rose, you can say about that little guy, Joe Morgan. And there's a guy on the bench, Tony Perez, has been to a few of them.
0-1 to Baker. Off-speed breaking ball, 1-1. We're in the top of the 8th. Philadelphia 7 runs, 12 hits. The Dodgers 1 run, 8 hits. Baker followed by Marshall. And Ron Reed finishing up for Steve Carlton, who went 6 innings and allowed just 1 run and 6 hits. Slicing foul off to the right and out of play.
Ben, wouldn't you like to be a little bird and be right next to Charlie Hudson at the World Series? He was out here. We got out here very, very early, about 4 o'clock. He was out running, and we were telling him about, well, last year you were watching in Dallas. He said, I can't believe that I'm standing next to you two fellas. And there he is, and his mama's here and his sister's here, and he's got World Series to look forward to. What a thrill.
For a 24-year-old born in Ennis, Texas, living it up in Philadelphia.
I'll bet he ran the Dallas Cowboys off the papers.
I would think so with that win yesterday. Baker hits a little dunker to right, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Lescano over, and the ball takes a tricky hop on him. All they can do is knock it down, so they're going to send Guerrero home on a bad hop double for Baker. It hit the very edge of the rug where it meets the track. And Lezcano was handcuffed by it, understandably so.
When the ball takes the bad hop, it's because it's a bad seamstress in the business, because it hits right on the edge. I say that facetiously, of course, because that's the only way you can do it, at the edge when the warning track, and that warning track, very, very important.
So the Phils leading the Dodgers 7-2 in the 8th inning. Nobody out. Baker at second base with Marshall, Yeager, and Landreau due up. And Yeager has gone back into the dugout for the moment. 0-1 the count to Mike. Marshall has struck out, doubled, and flied to right. 1 for 3. And that's going to be slicing down the line, but it is going to land foul by a foot or so. And John McSherry right there to call it. 0-2. So Baker will go back to second base. 7 runs, 12 hits for the Phils. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. And now, and we're a little surprised because you can see the ball hit the seam in right field. They're going to give Lezcano an error. So instead of a double, they're going to give it a single to right and an error charged to Sixto.
There's been some tough errors, I'll tell you. That error Maddox got in Los Angeles the other night was a tough one. This is a tough error.
Especially when you can see the bad hop. That's foul. 0-2 to count. However, in all honesty, the world will will long remember what has transpired here. I mean, you pick up the paper and you see the Chinese are setting off nuclear bombs. It puts everything in proper perspective. That kid down there has caught more than the maximum allowed, I think, like fish. And down goes Marshall. So he is now sharing his wealth with nearby fans. Now Rick Monday will come up and bat for Steve Yeager. And Monday will bat for him.
Meanwhile, they're getting ready in the clubhouse. Did you see what Bum Phillips said? I laughed out loud. I loved it when the guy gave him that $100 bottle of champagne. He said, "Hey, these are my good friends. Give me some fresh stuff." I love it, Bum.
That was a 100-year-old cognac. Give me some fresh.
Couple $100.
Sixto's coming out. Von Hayes is going out, and now Paul Owens is coming out, and I think maybe that's going to be off of Ron Reed. You sitting home might think it's over. This crowd of 64,000 might think it's over, but Paul Owens doesn't. He's not taking anything for granted. With Monday coming up, he's going to make a couple of changes. Von Hayes will go into right, Lezcano will go to left, and Holland will come in, and Gross will go out. Phillies 7, Dodgers 2.
Joe Garagiola, NBC Sports, another big series, Saturday Night Live, and watch it tonight. The president of entertainment, Brandon Tartikoff, will be the guest host. They'll all be back tonight, that whole crazy group. Saturday Night Live tonight, following your local news. And they'll have a musical guest, John Cougar. A special guest host will be Brandon Tartikoff. They lock up the boss. Now, that's what I call a contract, man.
What's that? Well, now, let's see. Sixto Lezcano had been in right field, and they move him over to left field, and Greg Gross comes out. Maddox remains in center. Von Hayes is now in right field, and the new pitcher is left-hander Al Holland. Owens also will make an offensive switch. He brings Hayes and Holland in at the same time, and this time Hayes will bat in the number 5 slot, and Holland will bat 9th. So we have Holland on the mound, Diaz behind the plate, Rose, Morgan, DeJesus, and Schmidt, Lezcano, Maddox, and Hayes in the outfield. Interestingly enough, Reed is replaced, leading 7-2, having just struck out Mike Marshall. But by making this switch, Monday is wasted. Monday was announced as the hitter. So Jose Morales is batting for Monday, who is going to bat for Yeager. So Holland will go up against the 3rd most successful pinch hitter in baseball history, Jose Morales. He led the National League in pinch hits 4 times in his career. He had 3 pinch hit home runs. And, of course, Mota is the first, then Smokey Burgess and Morales.
The last thing you'll say about Al Holland is that he is a spot pitcher. He rears back and he just fires. He's got a good fastball. It's what got him here, and that's what he'll throw. If he's going to get beat, it'll be on that good fastball.
So we'll see now about Morales as he makes his second appearance. He fouled out in the 9th inning of Game 1. Right. In fact, he faced Holland and batted for Landro and fouled out. Al Holland. 7-2 Philadelphia in the 8th inning. Half swing, it's going to cost him a strike as he loses his helmet. 0-2. Well, Morales batting for Monday. After the All-Star break, Morales suddenly could not buy a hit. And then on August 28th, he came off the bench and got a base hit here in Philadelphia. 0-2. 1 out, 8th inning, 7-2 Phils. Dusty Baker at second base. Fastball. He just missed the inside corner. Boy, what a job of setting him up, Joe, and then he just missed it.
He's got that good fastball. He was hoping to get it inside and have it break back, catch that inside corner. He just missed. Tough pitch to lay off of.
1-2. Fouled away. Holland is just about 100% left-handed. In everything he does it left-handed, except he bats right-handed. And he gave us a left-handed answer when we asked him, well, why do you bat right-handed? And he said, I don't know.
Well, I tell you, you're left-handed, and that whole conversation sounded like Stengel says hello to Yogi.
1-2. Fouled away, another fastball upstairs. So Holland working on Morales. 1-2 the count. Morales will be followed by Kenny Landro. And Landro has struck out twice, but those 2 Ks were against Steve Carlton. Got him.
It was an off-speed pitch of some kind. After just firing, he just took a little bit off, and Morales is way out in front. It's not what you'd call a great pitch, but anytime you strike somebody out, it's a good pitch.
You know, Carlton had 7 strikeouts. Ron Reed had 2, and now Holland picks up 1. So 10 Dodgers have struck out tonight. Here's Kenny Landro, grounded out, struck out twice, 0 for 3. Right. Landro with 2 hits in the series and 1 RBI. The paid attendance tonight, a whopper indeed, 64,494. 0-2. We're in the 8th inning, 2 out, 0-2 to Kenny Landro. A high-spirited crowd. Holland trying to nail it down. Fastball, pop foul off third. Schmidt coming over, but it's well back out of play.
These Phillies really took a beating with the Wheeze kids and Veterans Stadium being a proper park. I thought Johnny Carson's line last night really said it all, though. He called me old and the restless.
Boy, they are restless. They want to go to Baltimore, and they want to go badly. They're just a couple of outs away. 4 to be exact. 0-2. Check swing and a ground ball to DeJesus. Down he goes. So Holland gets Landro. The Dodgers get 1 run, 2 hits, leave 1 at the end of 7.5. Phillies 7, Dodgers 2. We're going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Philadelphia leading the Dodgers 7-2. Joe, this is the NBC Miller High Life Player of the Game as opposed to what will become the most valuable player of the series. And I think we agree.
Matthews.
Yeah, the first inning home run by Gary Matthews and the home run he hit yesterday. He has just been something with 8 RBIs. And the big 3 he picked up in the first inning, that was the keynote address for Philadelphia. Ball 1 to Little Joe. So tonight's NBC Miller High Life Player of the Game is Gary Matthews.
That was the man Tom Seaver picked in the first pregame show who could get hot and do it.
He had him. Miller High Life happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Gary Matthews to the Special Olympics. Little Joe hitting 067. He has 1 hit. Jack Pimple is the new catcher for the Dodgers. Morgan is 0 for 4 tonight. Off speed for a strike. 2-1. When the Dodgers bat in the 9th inning, and certainly it would appear to be their last hurrah, it would be Darrell Thomas, then a hitter for Zachary and Sachs. The Dodgers have used Landeskog, Monday, Yeager, and a stream of paper out in left field, so timeout until they retrieve it.
Well, Tuesday night, the World Series, McGregor's already been announced for Baltimore, and you've got to be certain it's John Denny.
A reminder, Saturday Night Live tonight following your local news as we tidy up left field. Two balls and 1 strike to count to Little Joe, followed by Pete Rose and Mike Schmidt. Ball 3. 3-1 to Joe. The Phillies scored 3 in the first inning, and that took all the air out of the Dodgers. A home run by Gary Matthews with 2 aboard, and all of it came with 2 out. Schmidt singled, Lescano singled, and Matthews hit it out. Fouled away. The Dodgers got 1 back in the 4th on Dusty Baker's home run, and the Dodgers also in the 4th had runners at first and second and nobody out. So they had the tying runs aboard when Mike Marshall was picked off trying to get a jump on a possible Landro bunt. But Landro missed it, and Marshall was hung out to dry. And after that, the Dodgers just saw the game go out of sight as the Phils had back-to-back 2-run innings in the 5th and 6th. The 6th inning, a 2-run blast by Sixto Lescano. So much to the delight of this large crowd, it has been pretty much a laugher for the Phils. 7-2, bottom of the 8th. With Morgan aboard, here's Pete Rose. Rose has flied to center, single to right, and grounded to short. He's 2 for 4 and pops it up. Russell going out to get it. 1 away. And Mike Schmidt coming up. Schmidt's had a big night. 2 singles and a double. It's a little bit of a different role for Schmidt tonight. Twice he was on base when somebody else hit a home run. He was aboard when Matthews homered, and he was aboard when Lescano homered. He's getting ready for Tuesday night. He is 7 for 14, hitting .500 in this league championship series. We told you before that Gary Matthews had tied Dusty Baker for 8 RBIs in a 4-game championship series. Interestingly enough, Schmidt, should he walk or get a base hit, would also, if he goes 7 for 15, he'd wind up hitting .467 in the series, and that would again tie a Dusty Baker record. If he gets a base hit, he'll be out of sight. 0-1.
Dusty Baker's having the kind of a series that Babe Ruth had when Whitey Ford was pitching and breaking all his records, and everybody was doing it. Every time somebody does something, poor Dusty has to take it on the head, and he's taking it right now because they're losing 7-2.
Well, turnabout is fair play. Dusty set the RBI record against Philadelphia in '77, and he set the batting average record against Philadelphia in '78. So they're getting back at him and the Dodgers as Schmidt strikes out. So he leaves tied with Baker at .467. It's a minor point, but we're at that stage as we take another look at the Philadelphia bench. Waiting to make a trip to Baltimore. And a Tuesday night date with Scott McGregor.
Scott McGregor and Denny, and then young Hudson, I would imagine, would come back. And then they travel, and here comes Carlton.
Well, here's Lescano. Singled and hit a 2-run home run and bangs his third hit into left field. He's hit the ball hard 4 times. He lined out to left and sacrificed. So he now is 3 for 4. That's what I was saying before. And I'm not taking anything away from Darryl Thomas, but boy, that's a heck of a difference when you can play Lescano or LaFay, and the Dodgers' right-handed bat in the outfield is a defensive man, really, at best, Darryl Thomas. And here's Von Hayes.
That's one of the things that they talk about with the Phillies, make it a very neat box score, a very neat, don't get too many players in there because they can come off that bench.
Von Hayes with 2 out and 2 on. Runners at first and second.
They're just getting their signs together. Obviously no strategy here.
We mentioned once before, Jack Pimple, the Dodger catcher, and Von Hayes were teammates in the Cleveland, Arizona Instructional League. They've both come a long way from those days. That was back in 1980. 4-1. On an Audubon. It is 7-2 Philadelphia. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Joe Morgan at second, Sixto Lescano at first. Off speed and low. 2-0. Von Hayes came here in a big deal that involved 5 players. The reason they made the deal was last year they had fewer RBIs from left-handed hitters than any other team in the National League. They needed a left-handed hitter desperately. Ball 3. So Pat Zachary is struggling. One more and he loads the bases. And on deck is Gary Maddox. 3-0 to Bond. Right. Hayes had 1 pinch hit appearance in the series and popped up. He batted for De Jesus in the Valenzuela game. Went out in the 9th inning against Niedencure. 3-1. And he hits a slow roller to Marshall. Zachary's late, but now is under a full head of steam and just did get the bag. Just got a corner. And Zachary late coming off and just did tow it. Take a look.
Here's the replay on it. He's late, but he just, that's not your classic way of making it. Now he does a half gainer.
7-2 Phils at the end of 8.
And the Phillies acquired from San Francisco. Mr. T trying to close it out here in the 9th inning. Phillies lead 7-2. Allen 25 saves during the year. Allen coming over for the Giants along with Joe Morgan in a deal that was. The Phillies gave up a starting pitcher, Mike Krukow, but the Phillies would not be here without that man, number 19, or without Little Joe at second base. Joe didn't have a great season, but he had his season when the Phillies needed it in September. Darryl Thomas will be the first one to face Mr. T. Then it'll be Candy Maldonado to bat for Zachary, then the top of the order. 9th inning, Phillies lead 7-2. 64,000 plus at Veterans Stadium. Foul, 1 strike to Thomas. Thomas is 1 out of 3. Allen came in the 8th inning for Ron Reed. Steve Carlton going the first 6. Lefty's game to win. Chase the high heat. It's 0-2 to Darryl Thomas. 2 strikes to Thomas. Al Holland Holland doing some groundwork. He won't be jelly jiving around, as he says. He'll be going right at him. 0-2 to Thomas. Line drive. It's a hit to left field. Over to chase it down is Sixto Lezcano. And Thomas rolls into second with a double. So Thomas momentarily silences the crowd. He's a runner at second base with nobody out, and Maldonado coming out to bat. Candy Maldonado. Batting for Pat Zachary. Maldonado during the regular year hit 194. As a pinch hitter, he was 2 out of 9. One of those was a home run. Nothing for one in this LCS. Time called. A ball is loose in the field. Chased down by third base umpire Terry Tata. Darryl Thomas, second base. Nobody out. Ball and no strikes to Maldonado. Dodgers have had 10 hits, only 2 runs to show for them. Dusty Baker has driven in both of those. Ball and a strike to Candy Maldonado. Tommy Lasorda. Dodgers have never lost an LCS. Lasorda led them to the World Championship in '81. And he's done a masterful job with this young ball club. Weren't many that thought Tom Lasorda would get his team into the LCS. Not many that thought the Phillies were going to reach there either. There's Paul Owens, who's done a great job. Michael DeMuzio, stadium operations director, alongside of him. He struck him out. That's one of them here in the ninth. Second strikeout for Mr. T. That'll bring on Steve Sachs. Sachs is singled in 4 tries. Darryl Thomas at second base with 1 down, 9th inning. Phillies lead 7-2. Holland was out there for the division clinching game against the Cubs at Wrigley. And here's Holland in what the Phillies hope is the final game of this league championship series. Thomas at second base and 1 out. A little bit low, a ball and no strikes to Sachs. Phillies trying to make this an I-95 series. The Baltimore Orioles are in, and the American League, Phillies trying to tie up the National League championship. 1 ball and 1 strike to Steve Sachs. Mike Marshall, a disappointed young man. Mike showed his inexperience in league championship play. A key play in this game was after the Dodgers made it 3-1, first and second, nobody out, with Landreau trying to bunt, and Marshall was caught off second base. And a base running blunder that no one knows better than Marshall, and he'll be back. He's a good young ball player, and he's going to have a lot of productive years in the major leagues. Ball and a strike to Sachs. He fouled it back. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's the Phillies dugout in anticipation of the National League pennant. Charles Hudson looks like he's more nervous than Mr. T. Hudson, the big winner in Game 3, the pivotal game yesterday. Hudson, a complete game win. Foul. He stays alive at a ball and 2 strikes. Allen gets a different baseball. One and 2 to Steve Sachs. Phil Russell due up next. He popped him up. That should be out number 2. De Jesus and Schmidt. Schmitty a little taller. Puts it away. That's 2 down here in the 9th inning. The Phillies are 1 out away from winning the 1983 National League pennant. 1 more out, and it's the Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles in the 1983 World Series. The fans are on their feet as Al Holland faces Bill Russell. Russell is 1 out of 3. Close to 65,000 fans here at Veterans Stadium. There's Paul Owens, the Pope. Once a .407 hitter in the minor leagues at Olean. The Pope is ready to do the mummer's strut. Al Holland looking around. Walks off the mound. 2 outs. Time call because, again, streamers are out of the field, so Mr. T will loose it up with Pete Rose. 2 outs. Phillies lead 7-2. Game 4 of the league championship series. It looks like the Phils and the Baltimore Birds, the Orioles from Baltimore, the 1983 World Series. Holland facing Bill Russell. Al on the mound, Darrell Thomas at second base. We'll have the locker room festivities for you. Stay with us. 1 strike to Bill Russell. A disappointed Steve Sachs. Mitch Ashburn is downstairs. The pitch. Popped him up. It's foul. It's coming back, and it's going to be out of play, I believe it is. Just over the screen, the first row. 2 strikes to Russell. 1 pitch away from tying it down, and it's only fitting. There was the anticipation. It's all right, Pope. You'll get it. You'll get it. With Mr. T out there. 0-2 to Bill Russell. Al Holland. They're going crazy here at Veterans Stadium. Struck him out. Phillies have won it, and now it's Schmidt's turn as Holland dives on Mike Schmidt. Paul Owens coming out. The Phillies have won the National League pennant. The final score is 7-2. As the Phillies are the 1983 National League champs, winning it 3 out of 4 over the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's the Pope. Boy, what a happy man he is. He saw the Phillies win the World Championship in '80 from upstairs as general manager. Now the Pope downstairs in uniform. Has his team in the World Series in '83 against the Baltimore Orioles. The Phillies clubhouse. Pete Rose, another outstanding LCS. There's the Sarge. He'll be the MVP of the league championship series. He had 3 home runs and a disconsolate Pedro Guerrero, and the rest of the Dodgers looking on as the Phillies have won the 1983 National League pennant, taking the Dodgers 3 out of 4. Phillies streaming into the clubhouse. We'll have that locker room celebration for you. John Denny, Tony Perez, Michael Jack coming in. Sixto Lascano. There go the champagne corks. One of the real pros, Tony Perez. And the other side of the coin, the losing Los Angeles Dodgers, the first time they have lost the league championship series. Charles Hudson, what a big winner in Game 3. The Pope is exhilarated. Larry Christensen, who gave it his all for as long as he could. And there he is, the Pope, Paul Owens. We'll be back with more from Veterans Stadium, including the celebration right after this.
The perfect burger. That's a very personal thing. Roy Rogers gives me a head start with this great burger. Perfect is just a step away at Roy's Pre-Fixins Bar. Only Roy's gives me all I need to turn their great burger into my perfect burger. Perfect for me is lettuce, 3 tomatoes, 2 pickles, a little mayo, but no mustard. As I said, the perfect burger is a very personal thing.
The numbers say it all. Gerard's Gamma money market account, on average, has paid higher interest rates than the money market accounts of any other major Philadelphia bank. Higher even than the money market funds. That's an impressive fact, especially since Gerard's money market account is as safely insured as a savings account. Furthermore, with a Gerard money market account, you'll have access to your money 7 days a week, night and day. Sign up for Gerard's money market account. There's no better way to make money with insured savings.
In 1979, the Pennsylvania Economy League warned the city that if taxes were raised, homeowners and businesses would leave the city. Taxes were raised by over $325 million, and 38,000 jobs left the city.
As mayor, I'll control taxes, and I'll go out and sell companies on locating here. We have to hustle for new jobs. That's how I got 1,000 new jobs at the stock exchange, and that's how I'll run the city.
John Egan as mayor means more jobs for Philadelphia.
Back at Veterans Stadium, Phillies 7, Dodgers 2. Phils are the National League champions. We'll take on the Orioles in the World Series. Let's go down to the locker room celebration. Rich Ashburn. Whitey.
Hey, Harry, Bill Giles with me here, the president. Bill, I tell you, it's a great day for you. Great night for you. Did you ever think it would happen?
It's a fantastic. I've been in baseball 33 years. I've lived for this day. I am so wrecked up mentally over what's happened this year, but it is the most fantastic feeling I've ever had in my life. I'll tell you that.
Bill, you said early in the season you wanted to create a dynasty here, but you didn't think you were going to do it with so many old players, did you?
The team of the decade. We started anyway, but the guys played great. But the people that are forgotten are the minor league managers and coaches and scouts, and I want to thank them. But I thank the Wheeze kids for doing what they did.
And on to the World Series.
No question about it. We're going to win 4 in a row.
Bill, thank you very much. Sixto Loscano. Big home run, put it out of reach. You had good swings the whole series. Must be your greatest day in baseball, Sixto.
Well, to get in the World Series, that's what it's all about. That's what a ball player dreams. That's what ball players go through minor leagues and big leagues through the years, and this is where it is.
You started at San Diego this year. You never know about baseball, do you? I mean, here you are in the World Series.
Well, I went 3,500 miles from coast to coast, and here I am going to Baltimore, and I'm going to try to do the best I can with what I have.
You had a lot of good cuts in this championship series, and I think it was going to be just a matter of time before you hit one, and you finally got one. It was a breaking ball, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, being around these people, being around Gary Mattis swinging the bat the way he was being swinging it, and Mike Schmidt, there was no way I could have missed that time up.
And one of the greatest defensive plays I've ever seen. Sixto, that ball you caught, somebody's choking me to death. One of the greatest defensive plays I've ever seen. The ball you fell on, you came up with a clean fighter to second. Great play.
Well, I think I'm still a little bit mad about the other one that I missed, and they gave me an error, but that's what it's all about. You got to be aggressive, and playing with this man over here, you got to be aggressive all the time.
Thanks, Sixto. Pete Rose, you son of a gun. You've been sitting around for a lot of September, and of course, you've always had great series in these championship playoff games. How do you feel? Where do you put this one and all the ones you've been in?
Well, this is probably the most rewarding one because it was total team. Most of the ball clubs of Cincinnati and the ones in Philadelphia in 1980 was primarily a regular type ball club, 6 or 7 regulars, but so many guys chipped in this year, and I've been saying it ever since the playoffs started, and it's really true. I mean, there's so many guys contributed to the success of this ball club, just like tonight. Sarge starts us off with a 3-run blast, and he really is hot right now, and Sexto hit 2 runners. Schmitty got 3 hits. Schmitty had a great series, and he's swinging the bat real well. And we'll be tough in the World Series. And Baltimore's a good ball club, and it ought to be interesting because they got 2 lefties and 2 righties, and I'm looking forward to going back to Baltimore. I haven't been there since 1970, and we lost 5-game series to Brooks Robinson and company.
Pete, you analyze things pretty well. I mean, what happened to this ball club? Did anybody have a right to suspect that this club would play like this late in the season?
Well, I think what happened is when the Pope came down after Pat was fired, the first thing he says, everybody's going to know their role, and then all of a sudden, about a week later, he started platooning a lot of guys, and everyone knew their role, but it took about another 2 weeks before everyone accepted it. And once everyone accepted the fact that they were going to be platoon players, you know who they are.
Including Pete Rose?
Right, myself and Sarge and Maddox and LaFay and Gross and Hayes, and no, not Morgan, but Morgan out at Frisco, and once they all accepted that, we all pulled for each other, and it was a contest like the right-hand lineup's going to outdo the left-hand lineup because the way things were being run, people thought they got hot, they'd be playing every day, and we just started pulling for each other, and everyone chipped in September. And Matuzzi did a great job playing first base, and Morgan had a hot September, probably player of the month in September, and that's a credit to his ability.
Pete, great series. Have a good World Series.
Well, that's fun now. The pressure's over now. The fun starts Tuesday, I guess.
Here's your buddy, Joe Morgan. Joe, go ahead, Harry.
Got Joe right here. You're the guy that got him into this league championship series. I know you would have liked to have one better personally, but hey, you're here. You're in the World Series.
Well, Harry, I've just told them I'm glad they didn't need me because I didn't do very much in this playoff. But I feel good, and I really look forward to playing the World Series. I think I learned something because I had not been playing against a lot of left-handers, and we faced 3 left-handers, I guess, out of the 4 games. And I did learn something, and I improved upon that tonight a little bit. I realized what I've been doing wrong, you know, because I hadn't faced them for a while. So I look forward to playing in the World Series and playing against some left-handers.
When did you feel like this one belonged to the Phillies?
I guess when Sarge hit that home run. I know lefty 3 is enough for lefty if that's all he's going to get. I know that for a fact. I mean, if we score 6 or 7, but when he got 3, I knew that we had it because lefty's not going to give up 3 in this situation. You know, a lot of times maybe during the year he might give up 3 to tie, but today I knew he wasn't going to give up 3.
How many World Series for Joe?
This is my 4th, and I've been a winner twice. The last 2 I've been winners, so I want to go out a winner. I think 3 in a row would be good.
Didn't you get an MVP in one of the World Series?
No, that's why. maybe that's when everything's working up to, because I didn't have a good playoff series. I'll have a good World Series. I remember in '76 against the Phillies, I didn't do very well. In fact, I went 0 for the whole series, and then I hit a home run my first time in the World Series, and I had a very good series. So I think hopefully that'll happen this time.
Joe, what do you mean go out a winner?
Well, you know what I mean. We'll talk about it later.
You're packing it in?
Well, we'll talk about it later. Right now, I want to just think about playing for the next 7 days if it goes that long.
You still have a year on that contract, don't you?
Well, that doesn't mean anything. We'll have to see how things go, and hopefully, I'm just thinking about the next 7 games, if it takes that long or whatever happens.
Joe, congratulations. Heck of a year, and you're the guy that got him there with a great September.
Well, thank you, and I want you to thank Richie for during the year he came down. He talked to me a lot of times when things were tough, and I really appreciate that. Thank
Joe,
you.
good luck to you. We'll be back in the clubhouse right after these.
Thanks.
Early in the year, these guys were down here scouting the kids. Now they're back looking for help.
Bring out your best, Budweiser Light. Bring out your best, Budweiser Light.
The best has a taste all its own.
Hey, Bob, you got a minute?
Enjoy it.
Budweiser Light.
Hey, when you're on the road and your engine knocks, move up to a new super fuel from Texaco. Already available in many states that can help knock out the knock in virtually all cars using unleaded gasoline. It's new Texaco Super Unleaded with even stronger octane rating to help give you knock-free power. If that's not what you're getting now, move up to new Texaco Super Unleaded. It'll give you superstar power for more car power.
Taxi's coming at you. Weeknights at 7:30 on TV 29.
My God, I know her. She's dyed her hair, but that's her.
Before I met Zena, the longest relationship I ever had was 30 minutes.
Greg, nice going. Pete Rose just mentioned a real team effort, and certainly it has to be gratifying for you because you were a big part of it. Maybe the biggest part since you've been in Philadelphia.
Well, I think so, Richie, and it's a great feeling. I'm really happy for the way, you know, like Sarge came through, you know, in this series, and Gary Maddox, you know, after, you know, the people sort of got down on him a little bit and everything, and they really came out and did a super job, and it's really rewarding. It feels great to be a part of them and to have something to do with it.
It had to feel especially great to be a big part. In 1980, you certainly were. You had a key bunt single in the game-winning LCS game at Houston, but this one, I mean, you're playing an awful lot of ball games in September.
Well, yeah, the last 2 months I got an opportunity to play.
I'll see how.
So I was rudely interrupted. No, but it was very gratifying to have a part. Everybody during their career wants to be part of a pennant race and have something to do with it. And fortunately, I got with a good ball club and had that opportunity this year.
What do you think as you look ahead of the Baltimore Orioles?
I ain't gonna worry about them till Tuesday. We saw them. I watched all their games on TV, and I'll tell you what, everybody I saw go out on that mound looked very impressive. So. I don't think, you know, just like the Dodgers series, looks like they have great pitching also, so it's going to be tough.
Greg, I thought that the first two, even at Dodger Stadium, although they were sold out both games, the fans were not a factor as compared to the games at Veterans Stadium. Did you get the same feeling?
Well, I don't know. They were sort of laid back out there. I'm not used to that out there. They're usually pretty loud, but I'll tell you what, it was some kind of atmosphere in this ballpark last night or yesterday and also tonight. I mean, when they started chanting, it got deafening, and I haven't heard anything like that since we've been in the Astrodome, and I thought it was great.
Greg, congratulations. Great year. Go get them in the World Series.
Okay, sounds good.
Greg's buddy, Joe McClain.
Right here, buddy.
Joe, beautiful season. Did you ever have any idea you'd be standing up here like this in October?
None whatsoever. I thought we had a pretty good team out there in the West, but I didn't think they'd get there, but this is just fantastic. What a dream.
You know, nobody suspected, I don't think, that this club would play this well late in the season. You were certainly a part of it. Maybe Pete Rose hit it on the head. He said it was a 25-man effort. He said when guys accepted their roles, he said that changed it around. And you were one of those role players.
Well, Baltimore's been doing it for years. Look at that ball club over there. You know, they got people that could be starting every day for others, and they're perfectly comfortable with winning and going to the playoffs every year. And I think when we accepted that, we started to turn the corner, and I just think it's just a fantastic effort by everybody. Nobody should be slighted or downgraded or anything for the effort that they gave this year. You know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And right now, we're one of two teams going to the World Series, and everybody contributed. It's just a great feeling.
Joe, you think this is a trend in baseball where you're going to get maybe 2 or 3 guys playing every game, and then you're going to have 4 or 5 coming off the bench?
I think so. You look at some of the great left-handers that are coming up now, you know, Righetti, and then you got Guidry. I mean, you go into a series with Los Angeles, and you could conceivably face, you know, Valenzuela and Royce, and they can put you in a tough situation right off the bat. So I think there's going to be quite a trend to it, especially when you got a guy that can hit right-handed or left-handed pitching exceptionally well.
Joe, good luck in the World Series. Great season.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Whitey, let's get Mike Schmidt and Mr. T. Al Holland.
I felt pretty confident, if I can be serious, I felt pretty confident after Sixto's home run. But when you got this turkey down in the bullpen, that 1-run lead ought to make you feel pretty confident. I can't believe he gave up a hit, though, to Darryl in the last inning. Of course, he can't either, but he's only human.
Well,
you got to give up one hit, one throw out.
I tried to just blow him away with a good fastball, and it was right there. You know, it's right there. I'm just glad it didn't hit it out, but it made me, you know, it upset me a little bit.
Let me ask you this. Now, you were the last guy in the mound Wednesday against the Cubs for the division championship. Now for the National League championship. Instead of waiting for Joe Morgan, which you did with the Cubs, where he jumped on you, it was Mike this time.
He asked me this time, right before the last hitter. He said, how about jumping in my arms this time? I said, you got it, brother.
You mean this was another one of your...
Well, last year, in 1980, you know, I jumped in Tug's arm.
Right.
And, you know, this is something special, Harry. All of you people that have followed the Phillies all year, we can think back to many a night and many a hotel bar and many an airplane ride where we we were sitting around trying to figure out what's going on, right? And apparently we did.
Let me ask you this now, as big and broad as shouldered a man as this is, you jumped on Tug, he jumped on you.
That's right. I felt like I could handle this 250-pound guy at that point in time.
Mike, you had a great LCS, something like, I think you hit around 500, probably your best. Would you say your best LCS?
Well, would I say? All you got to do is look at the statistics, and I'd have to say yes. I got to hit a lot of left-handed pitchers, Harry. And they're good left-handed pitchers, but I got kind of in a groove against the left-handers. I didn't do well against the right-handed pitch. I only had 3 at-bats against right-handed pitching, but I was happy to contribute, happy to get on base with Sarge, rise to the occasion like he did. I'm glad I was out there.
I'm glad you were too, and Mr. T, we're glad you were there at the end, as you always have been this year. A sensational year capped by this, and you got one more jumping in somebody's arms. Maybe you ought to make it a Vaughn this time.
I don't know, man. I guess whoever asked me first will try to do it. But first let's win the first 4 games. Or let's win 4. But Harry feels great.
Al, when you get out there snorting and snuffling on the mound and pawing the ground, you look like a baby bull out there, but I get the feeling that there are times when you're out there that you don't think anybody can hit you.
You're right. I feel that way. Because if I went out there and had any doubts in my mind, man, I don't know, some things might happen I might not really appreciate. But I go out there with the attitude and the confidence that I can get anybody out in the league. And until they hit me and beat me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I just don't see where I can change, because I'm not going to be a finesse pitcher in the near future, I hope not. But the fact, I'm blessed with a strong arm, and I just go out and just do it, man.
There were times when you were hit and beat, and yet you'd come back the next night and challenge him again.
I have to. I just have a philosophy that the quickest way to get something done is go straight at it. And I don't like to do a lot of curving and zigzagging and changing speeds. I just like to go right at it.
Just like Gary Lee Maddox.
Gary, nice going. Nice going. You had a good series. I know it hasn't always been happy for you this year, but this was worth it, wasn't it?
This is worthwhile right here. We're going to go, Mr. T.
Turn it around here.
Well, everybody had to kind of make a couple sacrifices throughout the season. But, man, this is what it's all about, coming down and winning the championship like this. It's a great feeling. I'm glad to be here.
Everybody, not everybody, but I know you've heard about 2 balls you've dropped in these league championship series. But I don't care what they say. I think you're the greatest center fielder I ever saw.
Next to you now.
Well, no, you're better than I was.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a tough year, like I said, but everybody's really pitched in and made a couple sacrifices, and it came out on the strong side for us. So we're all happy about that, and everybody's excited about going on and trying to win a World Series.
You're one of the guys that wound up playing the roles that they're talking about. Right-hand hitters against left-hand pitchers. Left-handers, right-hand pitchers, you were sitting on the bench. A little bit hard to swallow, but here we are. You're going to the World Series again.
Right. That's what I meant by, by making the sacrifices. That's what they felt that they had to do to win. And, you want to try and be as professional as you can about the whole thing. And I think everybody showed that we are professionals, and that's the plus of having a veteran team, guys willing to make sacrifices to do whatever it takes to win.
Happy for you, Gary. Have a good series.
Thanks, Will.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
Sarge Matthews coming up.
Sarge.
The League Championship Series MVP, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs.
This guy is unbelievable.
How does it feel to be the MVP of this LCS?
I tell you, it feels really good. All season, most of the guys have picked me up, and to be able to pick them up in a series like this means really a lot to me. It really does.
You couldn't wait to get to the ballpark today, could you?
No, I really couldn't, to tell you the truth. I had a talk with Dusty, and he was saying today was more or less going to be his day, and I just said, well, let's go out there and let's see what happens.
You ever hit a ball better than you hit that one?
I hit a ball off a Lawler, believe it or not. I thought I might have hit maybe harder, but this ball right here, and I've been using the same bat the whole series. I got jammed by Royce, I know, in L.A. the first time. I was surprised that it didn't crack, and I knew it was a great bat, and I've been swinging it good, really.
The pitch looked like it was down, and you took a heck of a cut at it.
Gave me one of those cut balls down and in, and after...
All right.
Those cut balls are maybe a little easier to get.
No, it was a cut fastball. I got around on the ball good there, and I was very conscious of it. Even before I went into the game, I looked at some film, and I felt that if I wasn't wiggling my bat, I would be able to hit the ball hard, and I did. And I turned around and I asked Yeager, was he okay? Because on the backswing, I hit his glove, and I came across home plate. I said, are you okay? He says, yeah, don't worry about it.
Your first championship in what, a 10-year, 11, 12-year career?
No, 11 years.
11 years.
This is my first one, and without a doubt, it means more to me now than probably anything that I've ever done besides, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, get married.
Sarge, you also led the team in standing ovations from the fans. Again, you went out and gave your basic salute as a Sarge.
Well, you know, everybody that usually goes out always tips their cap, and I had this plan, believe it or not, a while back, if I was ever able to do anything to have them call me out there, and heck, it happened twice, and I'm glad that it did, and I just hope it can happen a few more times before it's all over.
Did you feel the electricity as far as the fan reaction in the ball club tonight? They were really there in anticipation.
I tell you what, I felt that a little bit, but even though I hit the home run, I just felt that maybe they were going to keep coming back, and after Dusty hit the home run, I knew that it was going to be maybe a closer ball game, and right before, in that, I think it was the 7th inning or the 8th inning, and I was telling Bo, I says, hey, you know, we've never seen Sixto hit a home run, and I was walking back, and then I turned around and says, hey, this is going to be the time, and he hit it, and just a little bit more of a cushion for us, and it makes it that much better.
Speaking of Sixto, did you see the play he made on Russell's
One
ball?
heck of a play, I'm telling you what. They're going to have a heck of a choice on these outfielders next year in spring training. I tell you, I just hope I'm going to be there and they're going to fight for a job, and if I have to, I know I'm going to be on top.
Well, now it's Baltimore. Congratulations on the LCS MVP. You certainly deserve it.
Thanks a lot, Harry. I appreciate it.
Go ahead, Sarge. Gary Matthews, our guest, as the Phillies won it by a score of 7-2. Here's Mark McGraw, did a good job as a bat boy, and Dan Tugger. Tugger, of course, you led the Phillies in 1980 all the way to the World Championship. I know that you showed great unselfishness in taking yourself off the list as far as availability for this LCS. How are your feelings here? I know you're...
Harry, you know that none of that really has any play right now. We're all happy to be here, and it's just great to be on this ball club, and we can't think of a better place on the planet to be right now, and Marky's happy, our family's happy, and we're all happy being part of the Phillies, and we're just looking forward to going back to Baltimore. You know, it's great.
I know you were the guy in 1980. It was Mr. T. Al Holland in 83, and you were the first one to give him a big old hug. I know you appreciate what he did.
Al and Willie and Ron and Larry Anderson and the entire bullpen this year did a wonderful job, and we're all proud of every member of this ball club, and you know that as well as I do. And regardless of how things turned out for me at the end of the year, it's irrelevant at this point. We're just proud of the Wheeze kids, you know?
Well, we're proud to have you as members of these Wheeze kids. Mark, good job as a bat boy, pal. You got those balls out to the plate umpire right there every time.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Harry.
Tugger.
Thank you.
All right, here's Von Hayes.
Von Hayes, who chipped in a lot this summer, and probably more than you would like to have played a little more. But Von, I get a feeling that you think you might be up here again in the next few years.
Oh, I hope so. I'll tell you, this has been they've showed me just an outstanding organization from the start, and it's just a pleasure to be here. And I've had my tough times this year, but this makes it all worthwhile. And I'm just going to look forward to working hard this winter and winning the World Series for sure, because we're really playing good ball, and I've never been on this kind of team before. It's just great, and I just wish I was in there, but since I'm not, I'll do what I can coming off the bench, and it's just an outstanding situation.
Well, you did quite a bit coming off the bench. You also did quite a bit when you were in there playing. You did get to play some earlier in the season and some later, but
Vaughn, I think you're a good example of what 25 guys did to get this team into the World Series.
Yeah, it's. I remember when I was. I had some good streaks during the season. There were other guys struggling, so we pretty much picked each other up the whole way around. And now it's just everything's blending in and everybody's meshing. It's just a super time, and we're really looking forward to just going into the series with a good. We got the ball rolling, and it's just time to just mow people over.
You played against this Baltimore club quite a bit last season. It's a good ball club. Must be a great ball club.
Yeah, the one thing they do have is our veteran pitchers, and when they get in tough situations with men on base, they're not afraid to change up, change speeds, throw breaking balls, and still keep the hitters off balance. That's one of the biggest differences I found in this league. When you get ahead of a pitcher at the plate, you pretty much can look for a fastball. With these guys, they won't give in, but we have a little different team than the Cleveland Indians last year, so they might have to give in, and when they do, we're ready for them.
You know what, Whitey, Vaughn hit last year against Baltimore 380 with like 18 RBIs. He wore Oriole pitching out. That's a pretty good staff.
Yeah, they were, you know, you get comfortable against a certain team, and they were my team last year. But
you hit against all the left-handers too?
Yeah, they played me against the lefties, the righties, everybody, and I had great luck there, and I love the atmosphere in Baltimore. I was rooting for the Orioles all along because I love the atmosphere, you know, in Memorial Stadium, and Comiskey Park. It's kind of like Wrigley. Anything could happen. You know, it could be an unfair advantage to the home team at Wrigley or at Comiskey, but I think it's going to be a fair series in Memorial. It's fair dimensions, and it's going to be a good atmosphere.
Good luck to you in the series.
All right, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Okay, we're looking for Paul Owens. Is a Pope around here?
Come on, Charles Hudson, winner of Game 3. The pivotal game, really, in this league championship series, a complete game win. And last year at this time, you were in the Class A championship. Now you're in the World Series. Can you believe it?
Hey, Howard, I'm telling you, Harry, it's really hard to believe at this point in time, but I'm glad that Philly gave me the opportunity to be here and share this moment with these group of guys. And I'm telling you, I'm so pumped up. I'll be glad when the series starts because I'm really ready and excited for it.
Looks like you'll pitch the second game?
Yeah, I think so because we closed them out in 4 games, and John Denny, he's ready to go, and Lefty, as you know, he won tonight. So I think I'm ready for game 2 of the World Series.
How'd you feel yesterday in the third game of the league championship series? Of course, you won it. At what point did you feel comfortable in that game?
Well, I knew that if we came out of LA with a split, which we did, and game 3 was, you know, left up to me, and they put it into my hands, and I'm glad that they gave me the confidence to go out there and pitch the way I did. And all I really wanted was an opportunity to go out there and show them what I could do, because all season long, you're playing 162 ball games, and people wonder what you're doing to get here. And now that Philadelphia is here in the playoffs and in the World Series, they can really see what kind of ball club we have, because we've got guys that can go out there, and we've got guys that can go out there and go deep at any point of time. We've got guys that can pitch shutouts at any point in time. But as far as me being here and everything, hey, Harry, like I say, it's exciting for me. It probably really won't hit me until later, but now, like I say, we're here celebrating, and it's the best feeling in the world.
What did you hear from Ennis, Texas yesterday?
Well, Ennis, I haven't really heard anything, but from Dallas, you know, people have been calling me from all over. Houston, Dallas, you know, my family and friends, a couple of them came. Yeah, they'll have them. A couple of them came up to see me, and my mother and sister, they was a big inspiration to me, because it seemed like whenever they come around, I have a, you know, pretty good ball game. And like I say, without these guys here playing behind me, scoring runs and getting the clutch hits when we need them, I don't know where I'd be, but I'm glad to be here.
You're here now. Nice going. Kevin Gross. Kevin Gross.
Helped this ball club a lot.
No question about that. In fact, he had the only Phillies regular season win against this Los Angeles Dodger club over Fernando Valenzuela. And Kevin, how does it feel?
This is unbelievable. I never expected nothing like this year at all. And I mean, the feelings is unbelievable. I don't know, you know, what to do.
Well, you came up and at age 22 from Portland. I guess you were surprised you were called up. You won your first 2 ball games and pitched really well in so doing.
Yeah, that you know, I was really excited about coming up just to be here, and I tried to do the best I could and not, get too excited and choke, out there on the mound. And I tried to relax as possible. And the first couple of games, it seemed like I was going to go good, and then I kind of went off a little bit. Got a lot of no decisions, but I kept him in a lot of ball games, and so here we are.
You sure did. Congratulations, Kevin.
Right,
thanks a lot.
There
Here's a guy that got us to Mr. T-Land all year long with 9 wins and 8. Makes more good pitches, we've always said, with more players. In fact, there are almost 3 in a row in tonight's game. When that one went just foul, you looked like...
I know, I went, my gosh, not another one. I can't take another one. No.
But you got it to Mr. T-Land, which is what Al appreciates you more than anybody else, because that was Al's role at San Francisco, getting them to Greg Mitton.
I know, and he used to tell me, hey, I didn't like that roll out there, and I know you don't like the roll here, but the way it worked out, who cares? As long as it was a win for us, and I couldn't be happier. There's a lot of good people on this team and in this organization that really worked hard for this, and I'm so happy for them.
How about this compared to 1980?
The first one is hard to beat because, you work hard for a long time and you finally get there, and it's really a great feeling. But I think because of the people that's involved with this club, the players, the front office, and the whole Philly family, I think it is more deserving, and I feel happier about this one than I do the 1981 because of the people that this represents.
Ron, the players, it seems to me like the players might be the only group that thought you were going to win this thing. I've heard a lot of other people say that you couldn't do it, but I've never heard the players say that.
No, I think the first half of the year we really struggled, and we just couldn't get it going, and all of a sudden we looked up there and we played terrible baseball the first half, and we were like 2 out or 3 out. And we knew if we could just get a little streak going, and the players really believed that the whole time. And once we got that streak going, we really started believing in ourselves. And, you can't win in this game unless you believe in yourself, number one. And the guys really started believing in themselves, and that turned it around, and it was almost a cakewalk at the end.
You've been around so long, I think you were in the first LCS, weren't you?
As a matter of fact, yes, I was. Oh, you wouldn't have to bring that up, wouldn't you? Back in 1969, the first year of the divisional play, I was in with the Braves against the New York Mets, and they blew our shorts off in 3 straight.
What do you think as you look ahead to Baltimore?
Well, they've got great pitching, and they've got a tremendous defense, and it's going to be a heck of a series. But right now, our guys, I think, have got that little momentum going, and like I say, they believe in themselves, and it's going to be a good series, and best team win. But I'll tell you, we're going to show up for the games. I know that.
I know that a lot of people were fairly confident, or at least surrounding the ball club, despite Los Angeles 11 out of 12 during the regular season, that the Phillies were going to win this LCS. I felt very strongly about it, and I know the players did.
We got the positive vibes not only from you and Whitey during the last couple of weeks leading into the playoffs. We got positive vibes